Picture this. It's raining hard, and your son has been kidnapped by a serial killer. What would you do to save your son? Just don't be the biggest fool imaginable. Welcome to the game playlist. My name is Akshan. Next to me is Sashan.
Hello.
Next to him is Anuk.
Hello.
And next to him is Dilanta.
I'm wearing a Star Wars t-shirt, but I've never actually watched Star Wars.
We're going to educate you next month. All right. So, what is the game playlist? You're probably wondering. I'm glad you asked. Basically, once a month, we pick a game that one of us or none of us have played before. We play it. Then we talk about it. Simple. And for our first month, Dilanta picked our game. So, Dilanta, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Akshan. So, the game that I chose for our very first month on the game playlist is, of course, Heavy Rain. Ooh.
Exact reaction, action, exact reaction.
Before we get into that, I think just as a primer, just for the people who probably don't know what Heavy Rain is. I mean, it's been quite a while since the game came out. I think we'll give a little explainer. So, Heavy Rain is an interactive drama and action adventure game which was developed by Quantic Dream, written and executively produced by David Cage, and originally released on the PlayStation 3 in 2010. So it's more than 10 years since the original game came out, and has since
14.
been re-released on the PlayStation 4 and PC. The story of Heavy Rain is centered around the mystery of the origami killer. We're going to find out more about as the episode carries on. We, the players, navigate through the game through the different perspectives of 4 different protagonists, making choices that significantly impact the narrative and lead to multiple possible endings. I'm pretty sure the cast of us here probably got a different ending, so it'll be interesting to find out what type of ending we each got and see what happens there. With regards to the game, its reception after its original reception after its release, it was heavily praised during the time back in 2010 for being a significant moment in the evolution of video game storytelling and influencing the genre of interactive drama and narrative-focused gaming. But does it hold up in the year of our Lord and Savior 2024?
Oh, was it always bad? All right.
It is a
Before we get into it, we'd like to say that we will be spoiler aware for most of the podcast. We'll let you know when we start going into deep spoilers. Yeah, we'll try to be. But that doesn't mean we're not going to talk about certain story moments, especially in like the first act and the second act. Third act we'll try and avoid, and big spoiler moments we'll try and avoid. But we're still going to spoil like little bits. So if you want to play this game and you want to know nothing, get out. But
Great way
A better way to phrase it, Akshan, is to tell them to go play it and come back.
yes.
play the game and then return and see what we thought. You know, that's a good idea.
If you are going to get the game, get it on a sale. Is my recommendation for you.
That's a little bit early to say.
Leave your final comment till the end.
Yep.
All right. So, let's start by talking about things that have nothing to do with story. Let's talk about the elements that the game doesn't really focus on, or at least it's not the main focus of this game. The main focus of this game is the story. Like, what we're about to talk about can be forgiven if you enjoy the story, or if you're mostly compelled by the story. So we're going to start talking about this thing, which is gameplay. First off, I just want to get a read of the room. How did you feel about the gameplay in this game?
Okay,
starting off on a
wait. So let's give some context, because Dilanta played on the PlayStation because that's where he originally had the game. Yeah. Me, Anuk, and Akshan all played on PC. The only difference being that Anuk played mouse and keyboard. I played on an Xbox controller and Akshan played on a PlayStation controller.
PlayStation
So
4
you get
controller.
you get a wide range of different perspectives.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
So
Pretty cool.
I think the gameplay in itself is going to be
Very varied.
It's going to be very varied depending on what you choose.
Mhm.
Who would say they had a good experience?
Well,
It's
good.
only you. Until it's only
Okay.
I-
To start, you can go ahead. Like just like
Okay, so yeah, I mean I played on the PlayStation, right? So obviously that was the game was designed for that console and that that control scheme, right? So for me, I was pretty okay with it. I feel like again the controls for the time. I mean, again, right? Like I know a lot of people might not like me saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's a game that came out in 2010. It was supposed to come out like 2008, I think, originally, and then got delayed to 2010. So it's quite
They started developing in like 2006. Like apparently
Yeah.
they were going to adapt it into a movie by 2008. Like it had enough publicity that they were talking about it in 2008.
Exactly. So you're talking like nearly a decade old gameplay elements that they were trying to build, right? So in that sense, it was. I can see that they were like really attempting to do like make it as intuitive as possible, like the way you move around, the way you move things, the way you interact with things. They were like, oh, you open a door, you actually have to do like the motion and stuff like that, which is it's cool, right? It's cool. Don't get me wrong. And with the PlayStation controller, I was using the PS5. I mean, it was fine. But I mean, just because I had a good experience doesn't mean like it's not flawless, right? It was a little stupid. There was a little stupid things. I feel like a lot of button pressing. I mean, I think I've mentioned it to some of the button pressing felt like just it didn't make sense, especially when you were moving around within different buttons. Having to move around using was it R2? Did you need to hold down R2
L2, L1 or something.
is it to move
Yeah,
the
you had to
camera
hold-
angle?
No, to move the character, right? Didn't you have to hold down a button?
Hold down a button.
To move
Hold
the
on.
Yeah.
character?
For what?
To move the character around.
You need.
No,
You're
I
just
don't
a
know.
normal the left joystick.
Oh, really? I'm pretty sure I had to move around. Anyway,
Mhm.
there was just some very very weird button pressing moments which kind of counteracts that intuitive play. So
Yeah.
it was good
Actually,
for
we
me.
should-
So
It was okay, but yeah.
Speaking of that intuitive play, like I'll just cut you off there on that. Like my main problem with the gameplay, like I'm not gonna get into like other parts, but like the whole intuitive thing is for me is the whole walking around. Like usually you'd find that like left joystick
I
is
hate it.
left joystick is movement and right is camera angle. I understand that the right joystick was taken up for actions that the character does around the world. But the fact that the camera angles are so janky, it's just like so like
That is janky.
yeah. Like there's like
I hate
there's
it.
like episodes like when they're at the motel and like you're trying to walk down the stairs. Like I just constantly hold the forward button, and even though like the character's like automatically taking the turns for me and just going down the stairs, and I'm just like
Yeah. No, I remember that. Yeah.
So when you
But
let's say
sorry.
you're moving forward,
Mhm.
let's say you're moving forward, and then the camera angle changes, and so you moving forward is now you moving backwards, and so your
Yes,
character
yes.
turns
That's-
around
that's
and
what-
goes back to the
Yeah.
previous camera angle. Then you do the dance back and forth. Oh my God, Anok, you were gonna say something.
I was going to ask you what you meant, but yes, continue. Sorry.
no, I mean like
Oh, God.
your experience on mouse and keyboard. I don't know how that
It
was.
was way worse. I mean, I feel like it was way worse.
Yeah,
Like, sometimes you're
that-
moving
I'm
forward and you
sorry.
need.
When you told me we're playing on mouse and keyboard, I was like, this game has not been designed for mouse and keyboard. It must be very, very hard.
To be frank,
Yeah,
it wasn't even like the biggest problem that me and Akshan faced in terms of like playing it on PC was the fact that like the control optimization wasn't proper either. Like on Steam at
Oh,
least.
you know what? Now that you mentioned that, let's give a tutorial to anyone who's considering playing this game. If you're planning on using a DualShock 4 controller or an Xbox freaking Series X controller, go into
On
the
Steam
Steam
as well. On Steam.
on
On
Steam,
Steam.
on Steam, only on Steam. You have to go into the the controller configuration thing and go to a workshop controller configuration, not the one made by the devs, a workshop controller configuration to use for the game. Otherwise, your sticks are not going to move in the way that you want them to move.
So
And you know.
yeah. So
Sorry, quick question. Does that include using what's it called, big picture? Same problem?
I think it's just for the game in general.
No,
Because
it's for the
sometimes
without-
big picture fixes.
No. So like
control.
I don't know what
I-
I don't know what Akshan's issue with the game in terms of the controls, sir. But like there are some controls where you have to like go one angle and then like take it around.
Yeah.
Those
up and around.
those aren't
up and around.
optimized for Steam. So
That's what the problem I had. That's
Yeah.
what I had to fix as well.
Right.
So, like in the
Yeah,
opening
I-
sequences of the game, like when your wife asks you to play at the table carefully, each time I'm just messing up. It's like, those are my mother's silverware. Be careful.
Oh god. Yeah. Oh god. Okay, so Delanta, you were very actually Anuk, do you have any other comments on the freaking control on the freaking
Mouse and
keyboard
keyboard,
configuration?
So yeah, like one comment, like the Seshan said, was like the whole what do you call it, the camera movement when you move from one scene to another scene, like you move back and forth, right? It's annoying because you're using you're not using analog sticks, so you're using
Mhm.
two keys. You need to press forward, back left, or forward, back right, and then you need to press the other two keys, back right and back left. It's like annoying to move.
WSD?
Mm.
I use the arrow keys; it's easier for me.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
But yeah, it was just annoying. And then sometimes like the camera angles, I feel were like off. Like sometimes you could not see some spots, even though they showed a hint to go and get it. I don't know. I remember there was like,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a bit of a spoiler here, but like the detective house,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
like in the kitchen especially, there was like one part where you were supposed to, I think, sit at the
some eggs.
table or not cook some eggs. I think it was sit at the table or something like that. Like I could not access that part of the house for some reason.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I hate the control scheme. I like if I were playing this game and no one told me I had to finish it, I would stop playing it.
But like the
Because, my
weird
God,
thing
control
is that like
configuration.
the way the game starts off though, it like makes it seem like the game is pretty well optimized for the way that they had planned out the gameplay. Because you
But
need
I feel like it's a very bad port though.
yeah. But like I'm just saying, like my initial first reaction, like seeing that the way you do your actions is through your right analog stick. I was like, I haven't played a game like that before, so I was kind of like, this is new, is interesting. I don't mind it. It just got annoying towards the middle and the end because of the fact that you couldn't do certain things, right? Like you're limited to two camera angles. It's like, okay, you can't see something in this camera angle. Press this button. It's a different, even worse camera angle.
Yeah, like you said that you've never seen that kind of interaction module before.
Yeah.
I think that's because they saw it in this game and said, "Let's never do that again." No one was inspired to take that and put them in their games. Because my God, after playing this, I am so thankful that we have the moving the camera around your character thing for third person games.
But did this not exist like before that? And like maybe
It did.
But maybe they were just
It
like
did.
I thought it did. It always did that for other games.
Uncharted, the first Uncharted was move the camera around, and that was 2006. Uncharted 2 was 2009. I was playing Alan Wake, and that came out the same year as Heavy Rain, and it had moving camera angles. and
yeah,
stuff.
I think they just wanted to do something different. It could have worked. It could have.
It's because David Cage loves movies too much. He needs to start loving games because he just this game was just he like so many of the things that were annoying were because he wants to make it look like a movie and feel like a movie. There isn't any like retries, for example. The whole game, no retries. If you fail, your characters fail. But that also means that sometimes your character fails but doesn't really fail. Like there's a part where you're doing a car chase, let's call it that, and you're about to run into another car. If you fail the prompt, you still miss the car.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's true.
I also realized that like because I played the game like two and maybe like almost 3 times over. but like I understand because of the reason, like because I played it 3 times over, that like it's designed in a way that only up until certain parts does it actually matter, like what you do.
Yeah. Uh,
Like it just
Like,
gives
there's-
you the illusion that you're like making a choice, which
illusion of choice.
I feel if you know, like if you play it like a second or third time, you know that it won't affect it, like because you might try something different like you would have. But like I feel like if you're playing it for the first time, it might be a better experience, because
Mhm.
I feel like doing a game like this where your the choices that you make, or like the progress that you make, like if the character doesn't make it to the final um
Stage.
chapter or whatever, yeah, the final stage, like that's completely fine. But like I'm okay with like the choices that we make like not being shown outright, like in games like Life is Strange. Like like when you make a choice like not watering the plant in your dorm in Life is Strange, like this is gonna cause serious problems.
This choice
Ooh.
will have consequences.
Yeah. So like I like
Uh,
that's one part of this game that I like. It's the fact that the choices that you make, you don't see the full repercussions of it way up until the end. And we'll discuss this later on. But like this, I saw a lot depending, because I unlocked all the endings, and like
Mhm.
seeing how each one
How
unfolds.
many are endings? I mean, I don't know if this is going into spoiler territory, but how many endings are there?
So you count endings based on the cutscenes. So like after you finish
Like
the game, like
ongoing.
there are like cutscenes depending on each character. So standard is there's like a news report that says what happens. Then it shows like
Okay.
the situation of all the 4 main characters.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it shows
yeah.
it shows the situation for all 4 main characters. So depending on what happened by the end, all 4 have like at least
Okay.
4 to 5
An
different
end.
endings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's like
Depending
nearly
on the choices you made.
maybe like between 15 and 20 endings or more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, like after
It's
getting all
15
of
and
those, after getting all of those, like I understood like it's interesting if you're doing it on your first run, and like it's
all
interesting
right.
to figure it out.
We'll get back to choices in a moment when we get into story. Here's a question: what difficulty did you all play on?
I can't remember the name, to be honest.
I can't remember. I think it's
The
the
middle
easiest.
one?
I would
Or
have played on
easiest?
the easiest one. Yeah.
So there
I
are
went
Easiest.
middle normal road.
Okay.
I played it on the most difficult one up until halfway through, because at that point I learned that the only thing about increasing difficulty is the fact that you have more buttons to press.
Yeah. In
That's
the cutscenes.
literally
Like,
it.
cutscene buttons.
That sounds about right though. But I can't imagine them adding anything else.
Yeah, so I was just like, this adds nothing to the experience, right? Like this.
So I played it on the hard. When you told me that, I was playing on normal. And when you told me that, I was like, okay, I'm playing it on the hardest difficulty now because I want to see what happens if I fail every single button prompt at points where I know it's not going to matter. Because the game crashed on me the first time. So
Huh?
there was a
Oh.
sequence. That's a dream sequence. I won't spoil which one, but there's a dream sequence.
Oh,
And so
okay.
I went through that the first time. It was a dream sequence. I was like, okay. Second time, I was like, wait a minute. There's a dream sequence. I put the controller down and let the let the character completely fail every single button prompt because I knew it didn't matter. And it's so funny.
Yeah,
The game is so funny when you fail.
I did that on my second run also, just because like I wanted to get through it faster, and like that's another part of the gameplay that I really hate. The fact that if you played the game once, for crying out loud, just make it skippable. Like just make certain cutscenes skippable.
But I don't think it's
Okay, skippable cutscenes. Yeah, that'd be nice. I didn't know.
Okay,
by the
I'm
way.
fine. I'm fine with redoing quick time events, right? Because like it's part of the gameplay and you have to do it. I'm just saying
Yeah.
skip cutscenes, like like
You know
the
what?
starting and the
So
end.
you can't skip cutscenes at all.
No.
Okay.
And like it's a
You know what? What about skipping dialogue? Like a skip dialogue option. I feel like that would have been nice.
Might be nice.
skip dialogue. You mean like
like, let's say you're having your character's talking to someone else. You've seen this conversation before. Every time the new line comes, you hold the button down and it just skips to the next line until you get to a choice.
I don't think that's as bad as not being able to skip cutscenes. Like cutscenes are like really...
The issue with skipping cutscenes in this game is that every cutscene you have to do something.
Okay,
The
no,
game
no,
makes you do something.
no. Here's the thing, right? So there are ways to do this that I've seen other games do as well. It's like you play the game once and they don't allow you to cut. They don't allow you to like skip the scenes. But if you replay it, then you unlock the ability to cut, like to skip the scenes because you've already played through it once. Like maybe.
Or in other games.
Yeah,
or in this game.
Yeah, no, not in this game. I'm saying in other games have done it. So like, again, like I don't know. I don't know if it could have been like implemented in this because of depending on the time it came out. But like, it's definitely something that should have been added.
I'd say it's actually, you know what? I was going to say this is forgivable for it being an older game, but we played the remastered version, so I don't feel like forgiving anybody.
They didn't really change anything in the remaster, though, outside of the graphics.
Really?
As far as I'm aware.
They
They were talking about adding new content, doing this. They ended up just making it a port type. I just a remastered port.
A very bad port.
A
if
very
I must
bad,
say.
a very bad port.
Okay.
I haven't
Heavy Rain
already got
Remaster
this.
release date. It was released 2016. Okay. I don't know.
I mean, if you change nothing in your remaster, is it really a remaster?
They changed the graphics, apparently.
But
Not really a remaster.
that's nothing. That's basically Last of Us Part 2. So, I mean, that's like, I mean, the graphics, they looked good on the PS5. Surprisingly, I don't know whether there was a boost mode there. And I was like, this looks really good for what it is, even though it's a PS4 remaster. But I don't think they've changed the gameplay at all. So
you know what? Thank you for bringing that up. Another note for anyone who has 2 graphics cards in your computer: when you start the game, it's going to pick your weakest one. So go into the game files and select the better graphics card. You're welcome.
you're playing on PC and on Steam.
Like speaking, are we like gonna talk about the looks of the game, or are we?
We'll get into that a bit later.
Okay.
So Anuk, what do you
Yes.
say?
Did you all have any glitchy things happening during your gameplays, or is it just me?
Cutscenes.
No, I did cutscenes.
Oh, for me, not
such
even during cutscenes, just during the gameplay itself.
During the gameplay?
No.
What
Okay.
kind of glitches?
There were a lot of dumb things that happened. I don't think there were glitches. Like one point, there's a guy standing in front of you. You
There's
failed
a lot of
behind.
clipping. There's a lot of clipping of
Okay.
characters and stuff. But again, I just think that's just old game that they didn't bother to fix it.
I will say, this is 2010. This game came out. It's impressive when you're walking around and you bump into other characters. Your character moves like
Oh,
they
I know.
made the animation of the character moving so that other character can go past you.
But Anuk,
Especially in that one scene.
what's the glitch, Anuk,
In
that you
the-
had?
Okay, so do you remember the beginning when we come in from when you wake up and stuff? Right, you come down the stairs. I mean, hopefully not spoiled for everyone, but when you come down the stairs.
Oh my god, we go downstairs!
Spoilers.
Ah!
There are stairs.
My
But
worst
the- but-
enemy.
Continue. Sorry.
But basically, you had to come down the stairs. Right? My first try at least, I couldn't even come down the stairs. I got stuck halfway. Basically, I
fine.
clipped through the stairs.
Not to be mean or anything. I think that's a system issue.
No, not even a system issue. I mean, it basically glitched through.
Oh no, it clipped through the stairs.
Oh, you clipped through the stairs.
Yeah, like
Okay,
physically.
that's probably a game issue, but no, it didn't.
Okay, for me, I had to like retry the whole thing again.
I can't remember any major glitches. I'll be honest. I'm sure there were like tiny things, but not.
I just
not
noticed
enough to comment.
clipping. Seshan, I'm sure you also agreed, right? Like there's a lot of clipping. of,
Just
like,
during
people walking.
cutscenes, mostly like I've never had any problems with gameplay per se. Okay, the only gameplay related problem I had was that, and this is the difference between playing on an Xbox and a PlayStation controller. So Akshan told me that there's an actual like movement that you have to do with the PlayStation controller,
kill me.
which is not there on the Xbox. Right? Like you just need to move the right analog stick really hard.
up and down,
Yes.
just like quickly.
Yeah, just
Here's a
up,
friendly
with
tip: if you hate
frequent-
motion controls and you have a choice between Xbox and PS4 controller, pick the Xbox controller because PS4 they make
pick
you
Xbox
shake
in
the
general.
controller. Yeah, maybe, but they make you shake the controller at points, and it doesn't
Oh my
respond well.
God.
It
No,
does
but
not respond well at all.
But even the
Even-
analog stick doesn't respond very well because like if you don't shake it in the like the proper direction, if you shake it up and down, like if that's the prompt that it's giving you, and if you don't shake it like really like properly up and down, if you even go a bit to the right or left, it's like, oh, you failed.
Listen, I was shaking in my chair trying to make this thing move, and it didn't move sometimes for me. Your problem and a broken chair is what I. Oh God, yeah. Gameplay. Here's a question about the UI. This game essentially it wants to look like a movie, so there's no UI. Essentially, there's no like inventory, there's no health bar, there's nothing like that. But there is button prompts. There is those things like here, press circle, hold circle at this point. Was there any point where any of that was unclear? Where it was like I couldn't see that. I didn't know what.
Not that I couldn't see it, but sometimes, yeah, it like because sometimes you have to hold down, sometimes you have to rapidly press.
Oh yeah.
I sometimes
Yeah.
couldn't figure out the difference between which.
I think there were sometimes issues where like when you're doing an action and like it switches camera angles, you can't see the prompt very easily, and like the place I noticed is the most was in the club when you had to get her to dance,
Oh yeah. That's true.
and you like you know like for
You
me it was
guessed
just
what the prompt was.
no I had to only press 2 buttons because I'm playing on easy mode at that point. But like whenever it changes the camera angle, like sometimes the prompt is like attached onto her arm, and like it's behind her body, so it's like you can't see the prompt until she brings her hand forward.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's weird. Oh God. Okay, but for besides those moments, for the most part, it was clear. Here's a question about immersion. Did that immerse you into the game? Because it's sort of like, sort of in the same way that James Cameron for Avatar, he wanted to immerse you more into the movie by making it 3D. This game wants to immerse you more in the game by making every cutscene be interactable, or at the very least, you have agency in the cutscenes. Did it immerse you more into it? Did it make you feel like you were the character, or did it just annoy you like it did me? I'm telling you my opinion already.
I think we'll let Anup go first on this.
Yeah.
I agree with Akshan. It was not. I mean, it's not my forte of kind of thing to do, like interactable cutscenes. Like I'd rather see the cutscene and then just
Why?
get done with it.
Why can you fail getting out of bed? That's my annoyance. Why can you fail at getting? You can just slowly get up and then I failed. I don't understand it. I don't.
I mean, there are, like you say, like there are things which you should not be able to fail, and then there are things that you can fail, but it still doesn't really adversely affect you in the long run, so to say.
Would you have preferred if instead it was just a button press instead of the stick movement stuff?
For simple
Instead of that
stuff,
word?
yes. For simple stuff, like you said, like getting out of bed, you should have just pressed like a button to get out of bed.
I
without
Opening a
the whole
drawer.
sequence.
I actually
Opening a
don't think
drawer.
so. I don't think so. I feel like the way that it's gone with the gameplay, the whole analog stick movement, it's fine. Like I feel like they could have done it in a way that made it better. I feel like just the overall experience was bad, but I don't think that one aspect of making movements based off the analog stick, I don't think that's bad. I think it was all right.
Maybe this is from mouse and keyboard perspective.
reason-
I feel like
the
it's a bit
reason it-
more annoying.
Yeah,
mouse and keyboard.
Mouse and keyboard, I can
No, that's
imagine,
because
yeah.
your analog movement is based on your mouse, right? And like you're not used to
Yeah.
making quick time event movements based on a mouse.
Yeah.
Unless you play Osu.
I mean,
The
but
reason
even
that
still,
it
like a mouse
annoys
is
me.
like an analog feel, right? Like it simulates that.
No,
Analog
it
movement.
doesn't. It doesn't. Like I
But
feel like
not
mouse and
really.
keyboard wouldn't like I don't think it would like
Here's the
transfer
thing.
well.
I did play on mouse and keyboard for a bit,
Even
but I
I
didn't
did.
find the fix for the controller.
Same.
And I just stopped playing, but it did feel very different from analog.
Maybe I guess.
But here's my argument for why they shouldn't, why it wasn't worth it, because it just started to make me go, well, why isn't other things in this game? Why don't you have to move the analog stick for other things in this game? Like one point, you're opening a drawer, and you have to do a full movement to open the drawer, and then another full movement to pull out the stuff from the drawer, and then another full movement to lay out the plates, stuff like that. But then later, at another point in the game, you press a button and you empty out an entire cabinet and move it towards the freaking bedside table, all from one button prompt. It's inconsistent. I'm confused why some mundane actions require a lot of interaction and some important actions press X.
No, see, like that's what I'm saying, right? Like if you take the analog stick movement like by itself, like the whole moving like directional movement thing as like one thing but on its own, I feel like that in itself is like it was unique and it was something like new and refreshing to try in a game. Like I agree with you that the problem is like its implementation is bad. The fact that like it's inconsistent, that it makes it difficult when the camera angles are so bad, right? Like
was there one point in the game where it really worked for you, where you were like, this is really sort of like one engaging or one like really works for me in this game?
I'm just saying that like it felt a bit more interesting than pressing buttons for some reason.
Okay, because for me, like most of what I said stands, but there was one point where there's an electrical fence.
Yeah,
we'll
okay.
just call it an electrical fence, and you have to hold a bunch of buttons to try and get through. Me trying to hold those buttons on the controller was almost, it made me feel the same way as that person trying to wedge themselves through the electrical fence, because I had to maneuver my hand and fingers in such a way that it felt as like as the guy in that moment. That worked for me. Was there any other moments like that? Because for me, besides that, I didn't really see a purpose.
I felt like the directional movements, like in comparison with the button movements, I felt like button movements were only necessary in like quick time things. And like directional movements were more that, I don't know what you call it, like the whole open world sort of situation where it's like like the exploration gameplay type. Whereas the button mashing and like the button holding bits only came into play during like actual quick time events.
Okay, so you're saying the directional movements, they worked for you when it was in exploration mode.
Yeah, like it's okay like that because it brings a sense of like what do you call it? Like it's new. It's like it's new.
What's
I
that
think.
Word?
I don't know, but like it just felt better than like whatever like we've been like it just felt better than just pressing a button and like having it do that thing, right?
Yeah, sorry. For some reason, nothing is coming to mind. But are there any games, even like in the last few years, which I'm sure there are.
Verisimilitude.
Where what?
Where they use that type of interaction, like
no, they don't.
moving that.
No, and so like I don't think there are. Like there aren't. But
there are.
Okay, I think
maybe there are.
Maybe there are some indie games. I'm sure there are a lot of indie games that go into the mundane stuff and make it really interactable.
Yeah, no, like, and there are some games that can probably do that really well. Like, I was just reminded now of like Watch Dogs when it first released, and like when I first tried the game, and the fact that like the things that you do in the game in terms of like hacking certain things, especially like when you're in a chase. Yeah, those are a press of a button, and like that kind of really let me down really bad. Like when I played the game, because it was just like. I mean, I get it. You want to make it easy for the person playing the game, but like, come on.
I feel like we're gonna go into a long conversation if we talk about this, but yeah, I get your point. I get your point. Yeah.
I get your point. I get your point. I get your point, and I agree. I just wish that it was in a game where it used it a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I feel like I'm just saying that it was the concept on its own is good. It was just very badly implemented.
Hey, I heard that Detroit Become Human is a good game, and it uses that exact mechanism. So
Yeah.
We shall suggest that game later.
maybe it's a
does use
recommend.
that. It does use that. Yeah.
And it's apparently good, made by the same guy. All right, so I think we've set up piece about a gameplay. Unless there's anything more to say, just interrupt me. Let's go on to just a short segment about the tone of the game, which is the music, the graphics, or the art style, and the character designs and the motion capture. First off, music. Any notes? Any Any?
Notes.
Thank you. A minor. Any points about music that anyone wants to make, or are we just in consensus of it's good?
I mean,
Okay.
it could have been
It didn't stand
better.
out. It didn't
Could have
stand
been
out.
better for a person who was making movies. I thought they would make a bit more, a bit more of an orchestra kind of a feel to the scenes, at least. Not orchestra, sorry, that's not the word correct, but like a bit more moody or a bit more similar to the scenes that they were aiming for, at least. Like
Yeah.
it felt a bit too consistent. Like every scene has the same tone.
My takeaway is
I
that it was
agree.
too generic.
Yeah.
I agree. It did feel that way. It sort of felt forgettable in my mind for those reasons. Not as bad. I more that graphics.
Yeah, it's
the
not
graphics and-
iconic. It's just like if someone played the music on the jukebox, you wouldn't you wouldn't be like, oh, it's heavy rain.
Oh my gosh, it's raining. It's heavy rain.
Oh my gosh, it's raining.
all right. Graphics and the art style. It is an older game. It has aged a bit, right? So we're not holding that against it really.
But for
But
its
the
time,
art
I think
style.
it's fine. Right?
It's fine.
For its time, it was supposed to be like, well, again, yeah. For its time, I guess
It's very wet.
it is impressive. Yeah.
Wait.
I think like every part of the game was like it seemed all right. Like you all said, considering like the time it was made in. The only time I actually felt like kind of this like the graphics were bad was only in one scene.
Okay.
Give a description without revealing the.
Is it near the
Without
end?
a spoiler, please.
Is it near the end?
It takes place in the motel.
Uh-huh.
It involves
Which
two of
part?
it involves two of the main characters.
Okay.
Let's not
Oh.
talk about that. Let's not talk
We
about
we won't talk
that.
about
I
it.
think it deserves its own conversation.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that scene in particular, like for the sake of like completing the achievements and everything, like I've seen it twice now, right? And like the second time I watched it also, like I was just like equally disturbed at how like
Can I just say? I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about it. That was a very bad. That was a very bad scene. That was very bad. Even back then it was bad. Today it's even worse. But
Yeah. It's
it goes into a deeper topic. I feel about like I'm just going to say like romantic moments in gaming. There's a deeper topic which I was reading something about where this comes up. So, but anyway, it's yeah.
We'll
We'll
get to
talk
that.
about it.
But
But
we'll
like-
get to that when we talk about the love.
but I'm just saying like that one scene is the only part where like that entire episode as a whole is like the only part like where I notice like the graphical problems of this game.
Okay.
the bad
Interesting,
look of
yeah.
the game.
There's a part where like they pick up the clothes from the ground and it's just like a
Okay.
block. It just looks
Oh really?
yeah, it just looks so stiff.
Oh,
Or
okay.
you mean like the 2000s graphics?
Yes,
kind of-
yes, like that's like the
It
only
doesn't
time
look like
that's
clothing.
that's the only time you notice it, which is weird. Like every other part of the game like seems so consistent and so fluid. It's just that one scene in particular that just makes it like, oh, this is a game from 2010.
I don't know about that scene, but maybe I was taken aback by the things that were happening in the scene to not really notice.
I'm not even gonna get into the fact that like the clothes disappeared
Let's see.
halfway through.
My thought is that the whole game, its style was very like dark and sort of like this almost like an infected puddle, and that's sort of what the game wants to look like. It's like a dark blood-stained puddle almost.
Oh, you're saying it
So
looks
with
like
browns
it
and
looks like
everything.
a road after a heavy rain.
After some heavy rain, indeed. The part that looks terrible, is the opening for me. The opening when it's supposed to be sunny and bright and very, very colorful.
Yeah.
It looks like someone took the dial that says brightness and cranked it to the 11.
Yeah, I think it was
Saturated, too saturated.
Too freaking bright, man. It hurt my eyes. I
yeah.
was so glad when the kid died.
Is that not a spoiler?
No, that's the hook of the game, right?
Which one?
God damn it. Anyway.
Oh god. All right, so
Sorry. Just one more thing to point out. I believe when I played it in boost mode on the PS5. That's why I think for me it looked pretty good, which kind of surprised me because it was just a PS4 game. So I think that's why my overall for me it looked good because boost mode, for all who don't know, it's a feature on the PS5 which gives additional performance to PS4 games. So I think they've added that to Heavy Rain, and they made it look like good. Not that it changed anything per se, but just it ran better, I guess.
I will say this: between scenes, between episodes, they have this moment where it shows the character you're playing's face just staring at the camera and around it in a very high detailed face. We all had that, I presume.
That's what I want to talk about as well. Like at the beginning was
a high res face.
What?
Yeah, it's just Ethan's face, just staring into the void, looking around.
What?
This high res face.
Was this after the opening?
Screen from a new chapter.
No.
What?
Whenever a new chapter's loading.
The loading screen. Yes.
Yeah. That I feel like I don't think they're using the in-game model. I feel like they made a model to look good for those scenes, for those moments, because the actual characters don't look as good as those loading into cutscene models.
Yeah,
definitely.
But yeah, Ethan's face is scary.
Yeah, I think those cutscenes were really odd.
They were they wanted to show off their graphics, I'm sure, for the time especially.
It was not the best.
All right, so last bit is motion capture. The reason I want to bring this up is because the facial animations at points, it's for the most part, it looks fine. But there are points where their faces morph into such weird, what do you call
mouth movements?
Vincent Van Gogh looking monstrosities. Like when someone's yelling, their mouth opens like a guppy fish. I don't understand why they look like that.
Jason!
All right. We'll move on from that to get to the big cojones of this game story. This game is a story game. So if we're going to be talking about the characters, we're going to be talking about the big plot points, except for the big spoilers. So from here, if you're interested in the game, check it out. Maybe, I don't know. But we're first going to talk about the characters, individual characters. First off, we were just yelling it, Jason. Can we talk about the voice acting? The voice acting as a whole.
What is the first?
Because I did not like it.
Shocker. I am shocked.
I think certain characters were done poorly.
I agree.
I think Ethan and Jayden were done badly.
Norman.
Yeah, Norman Jayden was done badly. I think Shelby was all right.
Did anyone look up who the voice actors were?
They all look the same as the voice actors.
Are they like voice actors, or did they just get people from around the studio and
around the studio?
No, because
the actual voice
games
actors.
indie games usually do that, right? Like recently, the big talk about Hellblade, right? Is that the actress who plays Senua is a video editor from the studio. Like when they were motion capturing her, they were like, she looks like the character. So what I'm saying is, did something similar like that happen where like they didn't get any like professional voice actors? They got like people who they thought
B
fit
tier
the
voice
role,
actors.
or
Maybe. I can't confirm it because Ethan Mars is played by an actual actor.
Yeah, it's
He's in
played by an
movie.
actual
Okay,
actor.
all right, okay.
Wait a minute. Okay. Maybe commendation to him, but I don't know. Did it sound like he was putting on an American accent?
I don't know how he sounds normally,
I
but
feel like
Because he's
certain.
British.
I feel like
Because he's
Oh, okay.
British.
I think certain voice lines maybe.
Origami.
Yeah. Like there are certain words he
that's
probably said badly.
It was an attempt at an American accent. I would say.
Yeah.
It was an attempt.
Scott Shelby's voice acting. I thought it was fine for the most part, but he did sound so muted throughout the whole game. It's like,
That
all
is
right,
true.
my name's Scott Shelby. I'm here to solve the murder of the origami killer. There's a point, okay, where you
There's
get
no-
shot.
Sorry.
It's a choice thing. There's a chance that you don't get shot. But I got shot because I thought it was funny. I got shot. And then after he gets up from being shot, he's like, it's all right. He just grazed my shoulder.
There's no ups and
understand.
downs in his voice. It's like one tone.
Yeah.
Monotone the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
Monotone.
Like all their voice actors felt monotone with no emotion in their voice.
Except for Lieutenant Blake.
I mean, because he had scenes where he had to be, angry.
Yeah,
and
just
stuff.
got out of the emotion. Yeah,
I mean, because that he was forced
You
to
wanna
do it.
come
right?
he just
here,
let it all out.
FBI.
Yeah.
I've had about enough of yours.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I
Yeah.
think Madison was fine, right?
Madison's voice actor was fine.
Madison was fine.
We're gonna get into that, I suppose, in a moment.
Mhm.
Actually, let's get into this. Now we'll just talk about not the voice actors, the characters themselves, in terms of their personalities, who they are, and what we thought of them. First off, a character that you don't get to play as, Lieutenant Blake. I just mentioned him. What what were your thoughts on him?
Honestly, didn't care. Did not care.
Yeah.
I mean, he was there, but like realistically, at least
He
in
didn't
my
support.
story, he didn't really have an impact. Like if he was there or not, wouldn't have changed the thing. Maybe he had a bigger impact in your stories, but for me, it was not really there.
Not really a supporting character either.
He was okay, right? Like he was.
No, he's a good character. He's a good character. I'm not saying that, but like, I didn't really like.
Character? Is he a good character?
I just think he was like.
He's
wants to get
inoffensive.
because
He's inoffensive. Like, is
No, the thing is, he wants to get the case solved so fast that he's willing to go off of like weak information. He's not willing to listen to the FBI guy.
Okay. They're
Magical
talking about like,
glasses.
is he a good person? He's not a good person.
Akshan, I think that the problem with him is the fact that he was designed to be a typical bad cop. That's the problem with his character writing. He's just supposed to be a typical bad cop. He's like, oh my gosh, everyone's a suspect.
So it's clearly you, right? Let me just pound your face.
Yeah.
Until
He was at the scene of the crime.
you are the one.
Yeah.
He had fingerprints. Everyone has fingerprints. Yeah, but he also had.
You see him? He has fingers.
You see, he's a
okay.
man. He must be the origami killer.
He was always he was really only interacting with Mr. Nam and Jayden. What's our opinion on Nam and Jayden? That's how you say his
Actually,
name.
that's not true, right? Because he does interact with Ethan.
He does talk to
He
Ethan
does. Scott as
when
well.
Ethan reports his
He's
child
talking to
missing.
Ethan at some point.
And Scott as well for a bit.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't talk. Blake doesn't talk with
Doesn't
Scott.
Unless
he
Adam
does.
got a
He
secret.
does. No,
He
he
does.
does. Okay, you know why? Only me and Anu got this. That means it's when you are in that place where you have to clean the fingerprints of you being
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Oh,
If you
okay,
spot,
yeah.
What?
you
Okay.
go to the police
Well, this
station.
is a big spoiler, but yeah, if
What?
you're right. If
What?
you do miss out on anything, then you do get an
If you do
injury.
There's a
what?
point where you go to this place and you want to remove any
Manfred's
evidence that you are
shop.
there.
Manfred's shop, if you clean up everything in Manfred's shop, you don't get this cutscene. But if you leave one item, which by the way,
Okay.
I don't know if you're talking about it again, I thought that was kind of cool because I failed that a couple of times. And I'm guessing you guys also failed it, right? Like
Yes,
whoever
I didn't think
got
of
the
that
cutscene.
part would be also
So
considered.
you know, you only played it once, right, Anuk? So
Yes,
you
only
can see
once.
it. So I played it a couple of times. Every time you forget a different item, it does a different shot of like what you forgot.
Yes, correct. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
That's-
I thought that was like the one thing where I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Okay, yeah. That's the thing, right? So, like, my first playthrough, I actually missed one thing. It probably, like, wasn't, like, the most significant thing, I think. But, like, I never got that cutscene.
Do you remember what you missed out of
I missed the
curiosity?
door.
I don't think the door. Wait, as in the door handle or the door?
bathroom door.
The door that you're entering the shop.
I-
So,
I don't
apparently.
think that's significant. I think it's every time I miss something, it was inside the shop.
Yeah.
So I don't know that the door
Okay.
itself actually had.
Okay, so
Basically, what
I'm-
happens is, let's say you miss an item, you go to police station, explain yourself, and then Shelby's leaving, and Blake's like, "Hey, Scott, you used to work here." Blah, 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 blah.
Okay, I've never had that scene. Okay, so they had an interaction.
yeah.
So I think maybe
Yeah.
then the only
Yeah,
person
yeah,
that he hasn't interacted with is Madison.
No, even Madison, I think he has, right? No.
We're gonna get to Madison.
Oh no, he
Well,
has.
don't know, maybe.
He has. There's
Yeah, he
a
should have.
Okay, not in my
Oh, yeah.
playthrough.
he has.
No,
Not in
in
my-
your playthrough as well,
He has.
Really? When?
probably. Unless someone died in yours.
No. He interacts.
Near the end.
He
Near the
yeah.
end. Near the end.
At the final chapter, they interact.
Final chapter. How does a certain someone get into a warehouse?
Hmm. Honestly, like I have my own gripes about some of the endings there, but we'll get to that later. So, what are we
Okay.
talking
Yeah,
about?
maybe
Norman.
this is getting too much into the
Right,
ending. So
Norman,
like,
Jayden.
yeah.
Nam and
Let's
Jaden.
I think
Yeah.
the same reasons that we have with the same issues
Blake.
that we have with Blake is the same issues that we're gonna have with Norman. It's because the fact that he was made to be a complete good cop, like a complete
good cop.
rookie good cop, goody two shoes. So like very cookie cutter characters. I think the
I'm a
only
good cop, but I'm addicted to drugs.
I feel like the drug problem was the only thing that gave him some uniqueness. Weirdly enough.
Yeah, it's. You know what was weird? I thought it was going to play into the ending, which it doesn't.
It actually does in some.
It plays into one ending
It
though.
does.
No. It doesn't. It doesn't play into consequences for the
no.
last section.
Hmm.
The last section of the game, not the ending.
Okay. Can I spoil something very big? Maybe.
Uh,
Well, no, it is.
So spoiler warning. Go ahead.
Spoiler warning. Skip 30 seconds later.
He died in my playthrough very
Yeah.
early on. Not very early on, but like
The same.
yeah. So he died in my playthrough. So that's where I think his drug thing came into play, right? Because didn't he start losing consciousness and need to take the drugs
at
and then
the
that's
at
when
the
he
shop.
got at the junkyard? Yeah.
No. So here's the thing. You can actually
Ah.
you in that instance, right? You fight that dude once, and then
Yeah.
for an achievement, you're supposed to initially fail. You're supposed to fail that quick time event where you're trying to take
Yeah.
the thing. You're supposed to fail it, and you're supposed to win the second fight.
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't.
Yeah, I also didn't win the second fight.
Yeah, I think I didn't win, so he ended up dying. So then, yeah, that's his story over.
No, but
Alright.
like in the end cutscenes, like there is like a reference to the whole drug problem.
In cutscene, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I just can't
But yeah,
remember.
he's-
I don't remember him too much after he died. Like even whatever happened to him in the end is just gone.
he's
Who's
addicted
our
to
next
drugs.
character?
Nam and Jaden. Okay, he had these magical sunglasses that
Oh
he
yeah.
just sort of
Ari-
pulled them out.
Those were so cool. I really
Here's-
liked that. Like
Here's the thing I'm upset about with those glasses. Why didn't they gamify that more? Like really make the evidence analyzing thing more of a gameplay element. They really made it a story thing where if you just give up analyzing stuff, then the story continues without you knowing certain things.
Yeah.
I feel like there was room to
When you say
gamify it, but David Cage.
When you say gamify it, what does that mean? Sorry,
It means, I mean more that they could have really made it a gameplay element, analyzing evidence, looking at the. They do it in Detroit Become Human later on. This analyzing data, da 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 da. This one they had it, but it's sort of like, okay, I just have to click these buttons in this order and finish this scene, and it had some gameplay elements to it, like you analyze this to look at that and blah 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 blah. But they didn't really explore that.
All the analysis, there was a lot of useless crap though in some of those scenes, where you go and you're like, okay, this might be something. Oh, it's nothing. Then you go to the next one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nothing.
It's nothing. Yeah.
I mean,
it's a voice line.
I mean, it's fine if it was 1 or 2. They had about like 4 or 5 unnecessary things in those things.
I mean, maybe
think it would have
a sidetrack thing, like to make you think that it's important evidence.
Red herring.
I mean, yes, true. I get that. But it's like a rule of 3 thing, right? You do it 3 times at most. You don't do it 5 or 6. It felt like there was just as much useful information as there was useless information.
Yeah.
There has to be like a. Yeah.
Maybe they thought of people would not see those 6 items, for example. Like
that's no. I guess that you have a point.
they would have like balanced it out, thinking maybe everyone doesn't get the 6 items where they fail.
So weirdly enough, right? I feel like only the first detective scene does this well. Is where it kind of actually just leads a trail.
They do that for everything.
No, I don't. I think the second one has it as very slightly. Because like again, one of the achievements involves actually scanning every single thing from all the 4 different crime scenes.
Okay.
So like only the first one does a proper job of actually like leading a trail. The second one has it to some extent, but the way you start off the character could just easily push you into the fight than actually exploring the area. That's actually what happened to me. Like, the final thing in the junkyard, in the scrapyard or whatever, that triggers the next fight that happens. You can access that like from the point you start moving around. Like it's just to your right. Like you just turn right and like you interact with that. Like, oh, fighting time. So like I didn't get to do the whole detective thing for that scene because of that. Like you had to actually turn around and follow a trail backwards. And then the third one is in the office. That was just like everything scattered around everywhere. So, like
yeah. I haven't.
But the glasses are cool.
The glasses.
I think the glasses are really cool.
You can play ball with it.
Oh yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that was
Although I'm upset, they didn't let you play with the tanks.
You
Yes.
couldn't.
I mean, even in the ball, you couldn't really play with it, right?
I
Like
mean-
it's not like
I mean, there was. It's not playing, but like, it's a fun. It's a little.
It's a fun
he's
gimmick.
being a silly guy.
Yeah.
He's being a silly little guy. That's all.
Just to
Anyway.
distract him from his drug problems.
Yeah. There's one nitpick I have with those glasses. Not the glasses, the evidence collecting when you're in the office and you get to sit on top of a mountain for some reason.
Mhm.
It's fine. It's fun.
No, you can
Cool.
sit wherever you want in different places, but yeah.
You can be on Mars. But there's that point
Wait,
where
Akshan, before you get into that, what themes did you all choose?
I think I picked mountain. I'm guessing Akshan
Mountain.
also picked mountain.
I picked the ocean.
I love mountain.
I picked
Really? Mountain was the nice. I went through all of them. I believe mountain's the nicest.
I like the ocean.
I don't-
I like mountain now.
I like
Yeah.
the ocean.
I mean, ocean was cool, but I feel like mountain was like for some reason realistic. You know.
What
I
about
felt
you,
like
Anu?
mountain. I liked it because we were already in heavy rain. in Drab City. I was like, oh,
Wait, Akshan, Anu, what did you?
autumn because I felt like it suited the mood of the game.
I think this is the one I like. Was it the one I liked the least? No, I think the planet one was the least liked one for me.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
plan
it
on
was a bit
is
boring.
so
Yeah.
it's like it's Mars, but it's just sand.
because it was
Because
in
get
fall or
it,
autumn,
Ethan
right?
Mars.
Oh no!
Oh, that's probably why he picked Mars. me really think about it. Oh god. Okay. So evidence selecting. There's a point where you select
Analyze.
you pick a piece of evidence and you're like geo-analyze, right?
Mm.
You geo-analyze this evidence. There's a point where you're like, oh, I have this make of car. I have the tires of this make of car that I am analyzing. Okay, anyone who drives this car is probably the person who killed this person, right? So I was like, oh, so we can do a cross analysis of people who own this car in this area. And then I did it, and it's like irrelevant.
Yep.
And it's like, it doesn't matter who owns this car. It's apparently irrelevant. I was like, why?
Okay.
Why? But then the dumb thing was that I picked origami, geo-analyze. Here's an origami shop. You showed me you let me geo-analyze origami, but not a car? Not a car and who owns it?
Okay, so I think the thing with that is because it directly ties into the story of having the car being stolen and,
Yeah.
So I think
here's the thing. Why give us that information beforehand? Why it's not like David Cage pulled this from real life. He made this up. He made the logical error here. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I understand that it's because it would have answered the question a bit too quickly.
I think the problem is the fact that like when you analyze the car, and then as soon as you're done with that, you get the information that it has been like lifted, it has been reported stolen, and that the last person that had it was this dude, and then his information ends up coming up in one of the like what's it called, evidence, and you don't see that, and like you initially think you're gonna geo-analyze the car, but instead you're actually supposed to just analyze this dude and see where he is. Like it is a problem. Like it's just a false sense of illusion.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a part where the illusion of choice really.
Yeah, the illusion of choice.
Okay, I have a question. Since we're on characters still. I have a question about that black guy. Did that just feel? There was something about it that I was like, that black guy, that he goes into the only black guy in the whole game.
It's 2010. It's 2010. It's a different time. So
I forgot what his name was.
Obama was president. What are you talking about? A different time.
Anyway, sorry. You were saying? Who's this guy? Wait, why am I?
When you go to the car garage and this.
Oh, you mean
Mad Jack?
Mad Jack. Yeah.
Right.
There was just something. I was like so scared throughout the whole moment in that game. Like, is this about to get racist? Because the voice, the attitude, and the fact that he was the only black guy in the whole game
who stole
except
something.
For the gardener. No, the only black guy in the whole game, and he's just a criminal. Mad Jack, look how evil I am. I was like,
did Akshan not get that?
Let's move on very swiftly. Anyway, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We have editors, so
I like how you're putting a plural on that, but all right.
We established that the editor that does this is 1 1/4 person. Remember?
Hold on. Anyway, yeah.
All right, Lauren. Lauren's also not a playable character, but she sort of tags along with Scott through a lot of the game. I don't have any strong feelings about her, except for one thing, which I will get to. Any thoughts on Lauren? She lost her son.
Character.
He lost her son.
I don't know. I feel like she was a good character. Like she played along with Scott's moods and swings, and I mean,
I believed her character.
Yeah, so I feel like she was a good character.
I want to ask a question, but I feel like it gets into an ending, so maybe I'll keep it for the end.
Okay.
Are you asking what happens in the car?
No. No, I was gonna ask, does she find out who the?
Yes, she does.
Right.
Yes,
that's all what I wanted to know. Okay, cool.
Yes.
I don't think that happened in my ending, if I'm not wrong. But
for me as well.
It depends on the ending, but it happens in one of them.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Wow. The thing that I have a problem with, not with Lauren
herself. Before you get to that, I'll just say that she gets her revenge.
Yes. In that ending, she gets her revenge.
Ooh, okay, That's interesting. Damn. All right. Anyways, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But however, Lauren, for some reason, the last time that Lauren and Scott interact is it's not even a choice. The game just does this.
There are two things that could happen, by the way.
What are they? So okay, so the thing that happened in my playthrough
That
was
basically
one.
asked me an ending.
Okay.
Oh no, not the ending, not the ending.
No.
The last time that
The last time they interact. What's the last time they interact?
the train station.
Oh, okay,
when
okay, yeah.
He's sending her off. Yeah, okay. Spoiler. It's not a spoiler of the story. It's just
Is
I'm
this not
confused by
a
this.
sorry? Is this not an ending?
No,
it's
Not the ending. It's
So-
not the
Okay,
ending.
okay.
It's
no.
when he leaves her at the train station. It's like, you should go. The origami killer, someone's going to come kill you. And then they kiss
Hmm.
for no reason. Why do they kiss? There was
No, there is a
There is.
There
I
is a
feel like
reason.
there was something
There was
there.
something between them. Yeah.
There was some tension.
There was
There was
tension.
There
All
was.
felt
Yeah.
tension. Maybe all the choices I made with that
Maybe.
conversation had no tension. And so when I got to that point,
Problem
I
is
was
the
like,
three
why?
of us are hopeless romantics. so,
To be
you know.
fair, Akshan, you let her get beat up.
I did let her get beat up. But here's the thing. The first time you meet her, she's like no, and I was leaving, and then she's about to be like assaulted by this guy, and I was like, can I just leave? And I clicked the button to leave. And I was like, why? Why did you give me this option? Why is
Well,
this an option?
I mean, yeah,
That is an option.
It is an option.
it is
The
an
thing
option.
is, okay, we're gonna get to that when we get to choices later because I have a gripe about this. Anyway, so Scott. Let's talk about Scott, another major character. You play as him. He's a private detective, and he's investigating who is the origami killer, along with Nam, and Jayden.
I feel like his character is good if you only play it once.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, yeah. Without getting too into it, yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
once you get to an ending,
Hmm.
whichever one you get to, I
Yeah.
feel like then in a second playthrough, Scott just like
Yeah, Scott takes like a nosedive in terms of character.
yeah.
If
yeah.
you
single
Yeah,
playthrough,
yeah.
good.
So let's-
multiple. No.
So let's leave him be for now and talk
Yeah.
about
Nas.
let's talk about
Madison.
Madison. Madison, another playable character who I cannot for the life of me understand. I think I understand why she exists, but I cannot for the life of me quantify or justify why she exists. Anyway,
My gripe with her is I can only sleep in motels.
yes. Oh my god, it's the dumbest shit.
Okay, yeah. Well,
It might be
that's a
true for some
lie,
people.
right? Isn't that
No.
a lie?
No, it's
No,
not.
it's not.
sorry.
It's not a lie.
That's the truth.
That's the truth.
She can't sleep at home, even though she has a dream at home about not being able to sleep. That means she can sleep at home. But no, she has to go to a motel because she can only sleep in motels, and that's when she meets Ethan Marsh. She doesn't go investigating Ethan Marsh. She stumbles upon him because when you listen to her thoughts, she's like, "Who's this guy? He's injured. Let me help him." And then she finds out it's Ethan Marsh. She doesn't go investigating him like a journalist. She's just going to motels because she wants to sleep.
Yes.
Right.
That's fast.
Yeah. Okay. Couple of things there. They wouldn't have signaled that she was investigating him early on anyway, because that breaks the story, right? So that's.
Yeah.
I mean, but we know for sure she didn't do it. She didn't go there to meet him. She just happened to come across him.
No, she
That's
just stumbled upon him. She just stumbled
Is
upon him.
that confirmed? Because I actually don't know.
I went onto the Wikipedia. I went into her Wikipedia, and apparently that's the case. And let me tell you this:
All right,
she
fair
has a
enough.
Wikipedia, but Ethan Mars does not have a Wikipedia. Can you guess why?
I completely understand. Yeah, I completely understand.
My God, I hate
There's like one other thing.
her character.
There's one other thing about her character that like
hate it.
I was like questioning. Like it depends on one of the endings. It's not really a spoiler, so to speak. I don't know if you all got this. Depending on the ending you'll get, there's one where she ends up writing a book. Any of y'all got that? No?
Right.
Oh yeah, I got that. I
Yeah.
got that.
So she ends up writing a book. Other than Anuk, do you two want to guess the name of the book?
Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
Heavy Rain.
The name of the book is Heavy
Wait, did
Rain,
she-
and the book cover is the origami, the one that Akshan's holding.
So it's
Basically, the
it's
cover of the game is
cover.
basically the cover of the
Game
book.
cover.
No, but it's white.
Okay.
It's white. Like the cover is white, but the origami is there, and like it's in a puddle of
Is it
blood.
white? I thought it was black.
It's white.
Oh, it's white, okay.
So like
It's a white origami in a like a brown.
no.
border.
It's a white. It's a white.
Same origami,
Same.
same Heavy Rain, but in a white background instead of black.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright.
So like my thing with
okay.
that is that like she's a journalist. I know it's not uncommon if she wants to publish a book, but like it's weird that she went from journalist to writer.
Depends on how you play the game. I
Probably.
think. I
Well,
don't
that's
think
not
it's.
that's not an odd thing either,
Actually-
because like
Actually, to be fair, successful journalists usually
Usually write
write
a
full
book,
novels
yeah.
about something like
Yeah.
that. Like, not to get political, but how many journalists on the left wing have written books about Donald Trump? There are like
and even when
2,000 books
undercover
by
when
journalists.
like business people when they go do undercover investigations on business related matters, they usually write a full book about it, like
Okay.
uncovering FIFA or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah,
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay, then it makes more sense.
And also, it depends
So
on
she
the
writes-
on the way you play the game as well. If you think, no, how you think. If you were from the beginning doing a journalist kind of thing, then towards the end doesn't make sense that she writes a book. Because for me, when I did it, my gameplay, it didn't make sense that it didn't show that she was a journalist from the beginning. It's towards the end. It's only when I found out she was a journalist.
I think that's the same for
Yeah, everyone finds.
Yeah,
her.
but it didn't really, that she was investigating
Mhm.
stuff. It felt a bit more different.
You don't.
They did not establish she's
Yeah,
investigating.
you don't know. Like, and you can't even tell. Even if you play it again, you can't really tell that she's a journalist. Like, until it's like, oh my gosh, she's taking notes.
They don't show her writing. I don't understand. There's so many.
But then she was taking photos. And I
I
think that we
mean,
had given her-
again, right? Like, I can't fault them on things like that because, like, then that's like that too. Like, no, it's gonna get into an ending. Never mind. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Okay. The way she walks. Why does she sway her ass from side to
I
side?
think I know
come
it. I
on,
think I know it.
Akshan, that's very obvious. We don't need to go into.
I
it.
know the reason. It's a bullshit reason. I'm just hoping there's another.
No. I think I may know
there is
reason.
no
I think
other
I may know reason. I think I may know reason.
got-
Oh, Akshan, Anuk with the scoop. Let's hear
Okay,
it. I'm pumped
if
for
you,
this.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but like in older 2000s games,
Mhm.
they all have the similar movement, especially in Sims. Sims 3, Sims 3. Sims 2 and Sims 1, especially for the female characters. If you notice, they always have the same movement basics
For the females.
for the
Mm.
females.
I mean, again, it goes into that like romance and women thing. Like video game developers back in the day didn't
Uses-
portray them in the best light,
Yeah.
like women.
I hate her character so much. I
But
hate her
that's
character
not
so much.
that's because of
So much.
the people who made her, not because of her.
My God, I hate her
Head
character.
reaction.
Like the plague. Why does she has to stumble into this entire thing? She has nothing to do with the origami killer. She has nothing to do with like the killings, nothing to do with Ethan Marsh. She just stumbles upon him and it's like, oh, he looks handsome. And then it just helps him for no reason.
Surprised!
For
I'm
the
actually surprised.
tiniest
Like
of
I
reasons.
didn't know that. Like the actual thing was she didn't know, and she just happened to come across.
She
it.
didn't know jack shit. She wanted to sleep in motels. My God. hate her. And here's the thing that annoys me so much. Ethan's wife, after you talk to her at the police station and she tells the cops that, oh, I suspect Ethan, she's gone. Why
Oh yeah, that's
couldn't
true.
Ethan's wife be the Madison? Why couldn't, because she has a motivation to help Ethan. She wants to find the origami killer as well. Why couldn't just make Lauren's wife Madison? Lauren's wife. Make me freaking Ethan's wife Madison.
I think the reason with that is
Why-
because that like they end up splitting after the first kid gets.
But that's the thing. It's such an interesting story. They split up, and over the course of the game, they're working together and rekindling romance instead of
No, but she
Madison.
thinks
Oh, look at him.
she-
He's
she
in
thinks
trouble.
he's-
He's hurt. Let me smash this man.
hang on. Akshat, calm down. I know you're angry. But calm. Yeah.
Such.
Okay. All right. doesn't she suspect that Ethan is the origami killer?
She
So
does.
why
She
would
does.
she? Yeah. So why would she help him? If
No,
she
that's the
thinks
thing.
that he's
You
the
could have
origami
written her character differently. They wrote a character to be, what do you call, like, I'm not with my husband anymore. You're a screw up. I suspect you're a origami killer. And then she disappears in the background. What I'm saying is they could have written her character to help Ethan, because they were together for 10 years of their life. And then they split up because their son died. Why doesn't she go and like, oh, my other son's kidnapped. What are you doing, Ethan? You're trying to find the origami killer wants you to. Do you suspect you're the origami? It doesn't matter. I need to help you because it's my son. That's such an easy motivation. It's such an easy change to make, to remove Madison from the game. Why? And the thing is, you could have made his wife Madison. Like, you could just taken the model of Madison and just made it his wife. Son, like, you could have had the same voice actor, same model, same animation, same story that happens. And you have a stronger motivation other than, oh, this guy is hot.
He's not as well. That's the other.
That's the thing. He's not. He's battered and bruised the whole game.
Yeah. I don't
understand,
but I
complex.
actually don't agree with the thing with his wife helping him. I feel like that for me that doesn't make sense, because even if they change it, like, I think the whole reason for her accusing him is to make the player feel like, he could be the origami killer.
Well,
I think that was the
Madison.
whole point of that. Yeah.
Well, thing is, Madison also, like, you can tell her that you think you're the origami killer, and Madison can suspect you. But think about it from his wife's perspective. Even if he is the origami killer, what can he do? Like, she knows that, oh, if he solves it, he's going to save her son. Maybe even she works against him, like Madison does. She goes to a serial killer doctor without telling Ethan anyway. You could establish that his wife is doing that. Like, oh, I need to investigate this. I suspect my husband is this. I'm helping him, yes. But what if he's not? Let me investigate and deal with this murderous doctor for no reason.
I have something to say, but maybe they wanted to add Madison as an angel in the game, as you know, like a person who comes in and saves people.
That is exactly what they do. But
I know that's what I say. It's complex.
She's not actually an angel. She's a shit sandwich. I'm sorry.
Okay. I mean, I knew that was coming, so it's fine.
My
Yeah.
God.
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think the whole thing about Madison's cat, like, I feel like a lot of these.
She kills a man for him.
I don't
To
have that
be
ending,
fair,
but-
I think she just kills him because.
She did that in self-defense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd consider
Yeah.
that.
She's not torn about it. She's not like shocked about it. In
Because
the
she
same
did it in
scene,
Because
self-defense.
she did
Why
it in
would you be torn in
self-defense, yeah.
self-defense? Yeah.
if you killed someone, even in self-defense, wouldn't you still be like in moral, like,
In
confusion?
reality, probably. In
But
video game
that's the
land,
thing.
probably
This-
not.
This video game deals with that. Anyway, Ethan kills. Spoiler. Ethan kills a guy to save his son. He's justified in doing that because the guy's a drug dealer as well.
Okay. We're getting into spoilers.
I think like if you think about it that way, right? Like the difference there is that like he has to Ethan has to do that, like, against his will, like, to achieve something, right? I think
Madison did it for her will.
no, as in
No.
Madison does it, like Dilantha said, in self-defense, and like again, like it doesn't mean that she probably didn't feel that sort of like
But they
thing. Like again, they might have not shown it on screen, and like the way the story goes, it probably portrays it as though like she was like stone cold about it. But it also could be the other way, that like after you come out of a situation like that, your immediate response is not grief about murdering another man, but it's more that you're traumatized because of
Okay.
what could have happened.
Okay, do you think the writers of this game were smart enough to do that?
No, but I'm just
Do you
saying.
think that's the reason? Do you think that's the reason they wrote it, or do you think?
I think my
Because I do not.
my
believe
thought
that's
process is
that's
that
what they were going for.
my thought process is that trauma trumps the like the guilt you feel from killing a person if it's in self-defense.
You think she's? I did not get trauma. She did not read traumatized at all throughout the game.
I meant in that particular
Throughout that
instance.
moment, that instance, and every instance
the near
after.
torture scene was not traumatic for you. It was for me.
Yeah.
She is not traumatized, is my point. She is
No,
not traumatized from that moment on. She never brings it up. She never states it. She never talks about it, thinks about it. When you go into her thoughts, she never does any of that. Yes, I would like to see that. That's my point. She's not.
Okay.
They never show that.
Okay. I see what you mean.
Okay.
Oh, I hate cheese.
Oh yeah, because
Okay.
then the next thing that she does is she goes to the club.
She him.
Yeah. Then the club
The
scene.
next scene. They both
Hang
kill
on.
someone.
Now we're just going into the story. So
Yeah, let's move away from that. Let's finish off our last
Oh my
character
God.
and then go.
Oh my God. Last character, Ethan Mars. Dumbest man alive. Kill me now.
yeah, I have to agree with that. Unfortunately, he did what he could. He did what he could, but he is.
My thing with Ethan is that like there's a lot of gaps in his character, which I understand from a storytelling perspective was supposed to mean something, but in the end, obviously left so many more questions than it did solve answers. Which
Here's the thing. I have a problem with it. He is the dumbest man
Hang
alive.
on, Akshan, are you okay?
I'm tired. I'm exasperated. He is the
Okay.
dumbest man alive, all right? And he's the one that in certain playthroughs, and most people do, even on the hardest difficulty, you're going to solve all the trials, right? More than likely, unless you've never played a game before. But you're going to solve all the trials, or at least most of them.
yeah.
And you'll be able to save Sean, more than likely. This man is the 9th person to do this, or the 6th, whatever. He is so dumb. Are the other fathers dumber than him? How did
Well,
they
the
not
other
solve
fathers
all of these?
couldn't. The other fathers never figured out the puzzles.
No,
Like
I
any of
don't.
the
I don't think
universe
it's. I don't think it's that, right? Like, I don't think it's
That's the
figuring
thing.
out the puzzles. I feel
I
like
think the choices they made.
I don't even think it's that. I think what separates Ethan from the other fathers and what maybe I'm gonna say it like this, the origami killers, like true motive of like finding a father
father.
who
True
can do that,
father.
a true father,
True father.
is actually the willingness to do it, right? It's that the other
willpower.
fathers are probably like they knew what they were supposed to do. Like you could always see that Ethan kind of like in his head was like
Had the willpower.
had the willpower to go through it, even though he knew that he could probably die doing it, right? Like especially with the last trial.
I said that very silently. Anyway,
I didn't hear what you said at all.
No,
I
he
know
said
that's
that.
why I said it very silently.
Okay.
Oh God.
I think that's what separates him. I don't think he is an idiot, yes, but he's an idiot with the will.
He's an idiot with willpower. Okay, I can buy that, but that doesn't dissuade me from telling you all the reasons he's an idiot. Let me go through it.
God, no.
Please keep
All
it
right.
within 5 minutes if you can.
Garden time. He thinks, all right, first scene in the game, let's go downstairs and do some garden time. I thought he's going to do some gardening. No, he goes outside and plays with his kids' toys. That's his idea of garden time. He picks up some swords and swings them in the air, like, and hits some things. And then he takes a paper plane and throws it across the yard. That's his idea of garden time. And then when his wife comes into the house, he just wants to bang.
What?
Like the only way you can interact with her, like when you go to your kids, you play with them. When you go to your wife, it's just like, hey, shall we go in the bedroom?
I've never
I
experienced
did
that.
not get that interaction.
No, he's like, let's go, and she's like, our son's kids are coming here.
In a
let's
flirtatious
later.
manner, not really like actually.
I never.
Yeah, but the thing is,
I never did that.
I
Though.
never got
the
this.
reason it felt like that is because he sounds like a child who's never had sex before.
No. I think what he's trying to say, Dilanta, is like it was very flirty and very, like not seductive.
Childishly flirty.
No, wait. I think I know. This is an option that
Yes,
You can-
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I never selected this option apparently, but all right.
But don't worry.
Neither
you
did
can.
I.
You
Like
can.
there's a lot of innuendos and stuff like that when he talks.
Yeah, and he sounds like
really?
a child.
What?
Yeah.
Who wants, had sex at least twice. All right, and he goes up to him.
I would think more, but okay.
Well, at least
No,
twice.
he's an
We can
expert.
confirm
No, we have 3 on record.
Pff,
3 on record. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Well, at the end of the game, yes. Oh
Spoilers.
god. All right. So other reasons he's dumb. Hangman puzzles. You know what? Let's get into spoilers a little later. I'll leave this for later. God damn my.
Thank you.
my
You kept me
face.
within 5 minutes. Yeah.
Oh god. All right. Well, not spoilers. Let's. No, actually, I think we talked about all the things I did the do with. Let's go into spoilers. So from here on out, we're talking about the ending of the game, big reveals, all the endings of the game. Sorry. And characters' outcomes.
Uh-huh.
So from here on out, if you played the game, stick around. If you haven't and you wanna, maybe consider
At this
going
point, I don't
ahead
think people
and
want to play this game anymore.
No,
Yeah, maybe
hang on.
maybe
We
they
haven't
disagree with
really-
me.
No, don't assume that. Jeez.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you seem offended.
No, because like we haven't really said anything about the story and stuff. So
The
If anything, my points have been kind of towards it. Slightly.
I know, but like it's not. You shouldn't make an assumption just based on that.
Mm.
That's like umpteen% of the game.
Yeah.
There's now we're
Yeah,
going
yeah.
into the actual.
Yeah, now we're going to the story. It's only uphill from here, boys.
Only uphill. Can't wait. So we can now say, with big spoiler warning for anybody listening, that Scott Shelby is the origami killer.
Scott Shelby's the origami killer.
I know, right? That's what I said.
Wait. I didn't get that. I thought it was Ethan Mars.
Wow, we got different endings. Nah, we didn't.
Oh wow. Anyway, I'm kidding. I knew it was Scott.
Speaking of story, right? I just want to say this one thing about it, and I'm listed it down here on my notes as well. In the opening scenes, like when you're getting introduced to Ethan as a character, the controls and everything, and the story as a whole, why is one of the things where introduce Ethan's bare naked ass in the shower?
Oh yeah, I realized.
You know why? You know why? Because they were going to show Madison's bare naked ass later, so he was like, "I need to show a man as well."
That's
Equality.
That's a yeah. It's a win. It's a win.
Or what do you call? They made Ethan's model, and they were going to put clothes on it, and David Cage was like, "We should show that."
I think it's just like that cinematic nudity, right? Isn't that
Cinematic nudity.
I mean,
I
it's
mean,
not wrong.
even movies have this, right?
I'm gonna be
they have-
honest.
they have unnecessary nude shots. So.
Yes, I understand that, right? Cinematic. I will agree with you that Madison's one was cinematic.
Because you're a bad
Ethan's
guy.
All right. Okay.
No.
Sachan, we get it.
Listen, why, right? Count the number of camera angles in that scene as opposed to Ethan's.
Far more than Ethan's.
Far more than Ethan's.
Well, for obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons, yes.
Did you really want a cinematic view of Ethan?
No, but it's not necessary.
It's not necessary.
It's
I mean,
cinematic.
the
It's
same
cinematic.
point can be said for Madison as well.
No, exactly, right?
The
It's either you make it cinematic or you just don't show it at all.
But then
Yeah.
the
Or
whole
don't
point
do
of-
it.
Or
Don't do it.
Yeah.
I'll let you know
I
this.
know for sure they knew the YouTube compilation clips were coming. They knew there was like Madison shower scene. Like they saw it coming a mile away. So
The only good thing about those scenes is that you can end it fast.
You can.
You can.
well, some people ended it fast, some people didn't.
Some people put down the controller and grabbed a different kind of joystick.
God.
Oh god. And the
Anyway,
sex scene between
continue.
Madison and Ethan.
No, we haven't got to that yet. Let's talk about the other stuff.
Let's talk
Oh
about
god.
that.
All right.
Let's
so
talk about the
any
other
other
weird
things
stuff like the bird dying and
the bird
Which
dies.
bird
no
died?
reason. Yeah.
Wait, okay, wait.
Metaphor.
Wait,
In the
wait.
beginning.
at the beginning the
Wait,
bird dies.
Hang on. Yeah, look, go for it.
Which bird?
The bird, they had a bird in
That's
the
what he was
house.
wondering. The bird in the
Bird
beginning.
in Ethan's house.
Yeah, remember like when you had to go and get Sean for dinner? Like The wife's like, go
Sean
upstairs,
is like,
Sean,
bird is
hey.
dead.
It's like, oh my god.
Hey, your brother's birthday's coming up.
okay,
Oh, look, a
okay.
dead bird
Yes,
who died for no reason. How sad is that?
He just
Life's
jumped.
fragile, isn't
He
it?
just jumped out of the cage and died.
Yeah, it has wings. What the hell? Why
It was a
couldn't
flightless
it be a
bird.
hamster? Couldn't it be a hamster? I don't know. The things, the mistakes and the dumb decisions in this game are solved so easily by just changing a small detail. Like it could have been a hamster that fell out instead of a bird that could fly.
Yeah, hamsters have more creative deaths.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you go on the
Yeah,
internet,
yeah.
hamsters have the most creative deaths.
yeah.
Okay.
There was a guy on YouTube who said my hamster killed itself accidentally because I taught it how to climb its cage.
Yeah, you have no idea how many hamster death stories I've read, and it's just like each one's a better story than Heavy Rain.
Good Lord, you heard it here
We
first.
continue
Folks.
talking about the story of Heavy Rain.
All
Anyway,
right.
yeah.
Let's continue.
All right, so after that scene, we have Jason.
Jason.
Why didn't they record more voice lines for Jason for that voice line?
They didn't have the actor had
Budget.
to run home for sausages and mash. So he was just like he
Bangers
just
and
said
mash.
Jason and then left the studio.
Yeah. My God, I don't understand.
Yeah.
They remastered it. Couldn't they get him back? Anyway.
They didn't change anything in the remaster.
Speaking of story, I've been waiting to cover this. Why is the scene where Jason dies, Ethan getting hit?
That's a spoiler, Seshan.
Shut
Jesus
up.
Christ.
We're in spoiler territory. Why is it, right? If you slow it down
Sure.
frame by frame, I noticed this in my first playthrough and I confirmed it in the second. Ethan gets hit by the car.
Seshan, hang on. I'm going to explain to you how it happens, okay? Y'all aren't ready for this, okay? So, like that scene that happens, right? Ethan is like clearly in front of the car, right?
Mm.
You know what happens, okay?
Mm.
So, Ethan is holding Jason like this, right? Ethan takes an origami out, okay? It has sharp edges on it, right? And then in the last minute, stabs Ethan.
Oh,
Stabs,
Because
sorry.
he's the origami killer.
yeah.
He stabs Ethan.
Wait,
You mean
The
Ethan
rest of the
stabs
game
Jason?
is
stabs Jason, okay? He stabs Jason and then whispers, I'm the origami killer. That's what happens.
Get folded.
Thank you.
Get folded, son.
yeah, that scene. It just did not look good.
But yeah, you're right. That actually doesn't make sense. Like in theory, they both should have died, and then it should just been about the mother. But
Also,
he was in a coma apparently.
Also, right? Like tying back,
he was.
he was in a coma for like
He
6
was.
months or
In
something,
coma
right?
for
Okay,
6
I
months,
didn't-
apparently.
I've forgotten that, but okay.
And another thing, right?
I did too.
From that scene, right? You see that same scene in Shelby's POV later on.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it,
Yeah.
if you haven't seen that, Shelby says that he was there the day that Jason died, and he saw Ethan trying to save Jason by jumping in front of the car. Like my thing, like with that aspect of the story is that, like, okay, you saw a father who was willing to risk his life for his child. Are you telling me you tried with every other father before trying with the person that inspired you in the first place?
Wait, did he say he was inspired by?
Not inspired,
Abdul?
but like he basically like what's the word? Like he saw Ethan's willingness to do it.
He saw. My father was terrible.
Yeah.
This guy tried to
But
save
that's what
his son. He
that's-
failed.
Hang on. So that happened before the origami killing started, or
I think they were both
during same time because
you
that's what-
ring, right?
Yeah.
It's
No,
not
no,
because
no.
he saw that he was like, I must now get the kids. And
No. So the events of the main story happened 3 years after this one's death, right, or something? Or how many years after?
I thought it
Was
was the
6
same
months?
time.
Was it 6 months? I can't remember.
Here's the thing. This game just doesn't make sense. So there's a chance that this also doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because I don't.
Sean is 8 years old when Jason dies. He turns 10 in this game. Or he's 10 in
So
this
2
game,
years have
in
passed.
the rest of the game.
2 years have
2 years have
passed.
passed. Now, the killings have happened every fall when it
Okay.
rains heavily on the city. Why are there 6 kids dead?
Because it's not only one kid per fall.
Yeah, it's probably
Okay, that
More
makes
than
more
one
sense.
kid per farm. Yeah.
So maybe like the killing
3
started
years.
after.
I feel like it would have been 3 years.
I feel
Two
yeah
per
something
fall.
yeah.
You know what? There are people who might be listening that don't know what we're talking about, that haven't played the game, don't know the spoiler. Scott Shelby is the origami killer
We said
because
this.
back when he was a child,
Oh,
his own father didn't come to help save his brother who was drowning in
His
rainwater,
twin
and
brother.
so he set up these serial killings so that he can find a father who's willing to save his son.
Yeah.
That's the origami killer. Do they justify it that much? No.
no. I mean, yeah, no, obviously not.
No. My head hurts. My head hurts.
But I feel like it was during the time that is the main point here. I feel like it was during the time when
I feel
No,
like the
so
killing started after the whole Jason thing.
after the Jason thing.
That's
okay.
my read.
That's my read
as
as well.
well. That's what I think's happening.
Yeah, because like why would
It's very
why would Ethan think he's the killer if the killings were happening like even before this incident, right? Like the whole thing is that like he gets mental trauma after all this, and then he starts having blackouts and all that stuff.
Okay, all right.
So
Okay.
like
Yeah,
logically,
checks out.
logically thinking, like you would only consider yourself the suspect after
Well,
that point in
I have a
time, right?
small theory. Maybe when you're in a coma, normally when you're in a coma, if you have something in the background, right?
Mm.
So the killings would have been played on the TV while he was in a coma, and he would have heard of the killings, and then he heard because he's now in a coma state. After he gets out of the coma state, he would have thought that he is the killer and whatnot, and then that whole sequence happens. But
Maybe.
in actuality,
Maybe.
that maybe it's a small loophole.
It's all just a theory.
Game
A
two.
game theory.
Thank you, MathPat. You've done wonders for the YouTube community.
I didn't watch you, but you've done wonders.
But I feel like it would have been the same time. I'm trying at the
Yeah,
moment. I'm trying
No,
to
so
figure
I
out.
think we all mostly agree that the killing started after that. After
Yeah, I think
Jason.
although if it turns out that he did the killings before Jason was killed, what that means is that it was inspired to pick Ethan for his next victim.
No, he
because he
forgot
saw
about. That's what he says. He forgot about Ethan until like recently, and then that's why he picked him.
He forgot about Ethan completely. Then
When,
Yeah, like
no. I get what you mean. It's just that it's so funny that like in my head I'm just imagining like, I wonder who the next father would be. Maybe that guy. No, I don't remember.
I don't remember who he was. Oh
Anyway,
God!
yeah.
but that's what he says. Right? He forgot
He-
about it only
no,
then when
not
he
forgot.
realized.
He said he remembered.
Yeah, he remembered something of that
Alright,
sort.
But like
So
on
regardless, either yeah.
No, I was like saying like this is a point that I couldn't bring up about Ethan's character. But now that we're in the story, I can bring it up. It doesn't make sense to me, even like once you reach the end of the story, that like Ethan's blackouts don't make sense to me. One, why does he have origamis?
They don't. These blackouts. They do not explain it.
Okay,
I was
alright,
gonna
alright.
not bring that up because I knew Akshan was gonna be set off and he's already having a headache. But
No,
well done, Sachan, for reading that one.
Please, Sachan, go on.
I'll just explain it like calmly, right? Like so, like
Yeah.
one, I don't understand why he has origamis with him whenever he blacks out, right? And it makes no connection as to like maybe like they could have given like a reason for why he has it, like maybe origami is like a hobby or something like that. Don't understand that. Another thing is like he blacks out and just where he was like during those times, no one knows. And the third one is that like the cutscene when he like when he is like in the middle of that road, it happens on Carnaby Street, which is where Shelby's brother died. Like the signpost says Carnaby Street.
But you don't know that until
Yeah, you don't know that.
Shelby.
You don't know
Yeah,
that, but
you
like
don't
why?
know.
Like
Okay.
what's the reason?
Shall I?
I don't think there's anything for that one in particular. That scene in particular, I don't think there was anything to it. They were just like, "Hey, this
Shall
thing
I?
again?"
Shall I? Shall I explain? Give you an explanation which will make you go, "Oh, that's why they did it." There used to be a supernatural connection between Ethan Mars and Scott Shelby that they cut, but they didn't cut all of it.
You mean in the original story?
In the original, like when they were making the game, they then cut that part out near the end, but they didn't cut it for the beginning sections. So it just makes no sense now that he
Even
blacks
I'm
out.
going to be honest. Even if there was a psychological connection, even that doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah.
No,
Even if they-
supernatural.
when they
Supernatural.
Even if it's supernatural, that makes even less sense to me.
But now all you have is Ethan blacks out for no reason, makes origami in his hand for no reason, and Ethan's wife says this to the cops earlier. Earlier when he did it while they were married, the next day they found out that a kid was kidnapped by the origami killer. That means it's connected, but it's not. And the game does no work to justify it in the end. They just go to happy ending land or bad ending land.
The bad.
Or bad.
Yeah, I think this is why like the recommendation is like if you're gonna play it, you play it once. Because if you play it again with the knowledge of what happens at the end, you question a lot of things that happen like prior to the ending, and like obviously that's a telltale sign of like bad writing. But
It's a red herring without explaining the red herring.
yeah,
It's not.
It's
Yeah,
like
it's not
it's
even a good. It's not even a good red herring. Well, you
Such
could
a
say, oh,
stupid red
maybe it
herring.
makes you think that he is the origami killer, but really, it's not even that.
I was reading a Wikipedia thing, and it said that they playtested this game, and out of 70 participants, 0 of them guessed who the origami killer was. Now, one would say that's because they really made it not clear who they really did well at that. But in my opinion, it's because the actual answer makes no sense. It makes 0 sense if you played the game. Because
Wait. So wait. You mean when they playtested this game, the one with
yes,
no
out
one
of 70
knew who
people,
the-
0
no one guessed
yes,
that it was
yes.
going to be Scott. Is that what you
Yeah,
mean?
before it was revealed.
I can see that.
I can also see that, but I also feel like that's.
Don't blame them. I don't blame them because
But that okay, yeah.
it makes no sense for Scott to be the killer. Because let's say you're playing Scott and you look into his thoughts, he's the origami killer. Why would his thoughts be, we're at this kid's grave? It's his brother's grave. Why would he say the phrase, we're at this kid's grave?
Okay. For that
Why
scene
are
in
we here?
particular,
Lauren's
he
here.
is okay. For that scene in particular, he doesn't want to be there though. He's clearly agitated
like,
and wants to leave. So
there are some scenes where he does that, but there are other scenes like
that's the one which made me go like, okay, that's suspicious because like if he really wanted to know, then why would he want to?
I think that it just started like giving the team of developers the benefit of the doubt, right? Like when it comes to like voice lines that are intentional, like not optional. Like I feel like every voice line you hear in your head is considered an optional voice line. I feel like the optional voice lines really confuse the player, but I feel every intentional voice line is directing it in that correct direction. Because like Akshan said, right? Like you think like, oh, poor boy and his grave, but you also feel the same thing after the Manfred shop incident. Like you come back to his apartment and you're like, and he's like, oh, poor Manfred.
When he was talking about Manfred's like actual when they were showing like again spoilers, but like when they show him killing Manfred, I remember that line very well. Like, oh, poor Manfred.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, that's meant to. I think that's just like a very poor attempt at misleading the
I don't think
it's not even a poor attempt. It's just lying. It's just lying with the intent, not the actual dialogue, because it's technically, or if you send it to a robot, the robot would say he's not lying. But when you listen to his dialogue and the way he's saying it, why would the origami killer, who's trying to cover up evidence, say any of this stuff? And I have another thing which we will get into.
My thought process on that is probably that like maybe the original scripting was written in a way that like the original story was written out first and dialogue in that sense. But then when the decision to add inner thoughts and, in a sense, hints at to what the character is supposed to do next, a new set of voice lines had to be written. And so, like, there is a disconnect between those two things. Like,
It's a heavy disconnect.
like, I feel like that's the only justification of why such a thing exists. Because
Could be possible.
Because if it's a different set of writers that are writing voice lines, right? They look at the scene that has happened and they would analyze it and then think, oh, okay, he's upset because it's supposedly his friend and the dude is dead. Oh my gosh, oh poor Manfred.
Yeah, poor Manfred.
Poor Manfred.
But like,
Yeah, okay.
if you were the
Here-
one that originally wrote the script, you'd probably have that in
Hide
your
it
head.
better.
You'd probably hide it better. Like that's my only like.
Okay, here's an intentional voice line and story beat that doesn't make sense at all. Lauren comes to him with the letter that he delivered to her husband, and he's like, "Okay, thank you for the letter," and he tells her, "There's nothing significant about this except that it was typed with an old typewriter," and he puts the letter down. He gives her a lead. Why does he give her a lead? She was convinced when he said, "There's nothing much here."
No. I think I know.
And then he says, "It was typed with an old typewriter."
I think
And then she's like, "Let's go to typewriter's land."
I think the reason with that, which makes more sense, like in the interaction that happens right after that, is the fact that if he didn't, is the typewriter first that happens?
Yes. No, it's not the first. But he tells her. It's not you choosing to tell her. He just tells her.
Yeah. No, I'm saying that like if Scott Shelby's character doesn't make that decision to go to Manfred's shop and take out Manfred, I feel like that was his motive all along, because like one of the achievements called Perfect Crime is involving the fact that you wipe out all evidence of yourself, meaning you had to kill Manfred and like clean his shop. So my thing is that like if you had left Lauren be without giving her that information and like you didn't bring her by your side, she could have gone and figured it out. Like she could have found some evidence.
No. The thing is, she wouldn't have gone to the typewriter shop if he didn't tell her it was typed with a typewriter. From her perspective, it was printed, the letter. She doesn't know that. He tells her that, and then she, leads him on this trail to find the typewriter man. Typewriters are us.
Maybe
Like, it doesn't. If he went on his own without Lauren to go and kill Mr.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Manfred.
Poor Manfred.
Poor
Manfred.
Manfred. Poor Manfred.
Oh, poor Manfred. It doesn't. It just. It doesn't.
Okay, yeah.
It's not interesting. It's not like, oh, this was really well crafted to make us think it's Origami Kill. But on the second playthrough, looking back on it, it still works. You like, oh, it makes sense. No, it doesn't make sense. Get freaking David
Yeah,
Cage.
I mean, like,
Yeah. That's why I said poor attempt at like trying to hide anything.
Plot twisting. It's not a what a twist. It's like if at the end of the Teletubbies, it turns out that Twinkie Winkie killed everyone, and this is all a nightmare. It doesn't. What, you didn't lead us on that ever. Never did you build this up. Never did you establish this, right? Oh my god.
Right.
So that one came from, but okay.
Speaking of the Manfred death scene, right? Like when you play back.
About Teletubbies, but okay.
No, I was just gonna say like about the Manfred death scene. Like if you watch the like how he died, as like he hits him on the head and then like he puts the thing down and like walks backwards slowly, and then he walks back in like, oh, Manfred.
Manfred, poor Manfred.
Oh, stupid. Oh, poor Manfred. With his arms on his head, shocked. Oh, poor Manfred.
How she felt
Okay,
for it is a
alright.
question I don't even know, but go ahead.
How she fell for it.
Yeah.
I'm willing to buy that because she's not an investigator.
I feel like it's that because like you, like if you look at it from her point of view, right? Like you see Scott Shelby coming to you to look for information about the Origami Killer, and like you try to get information out of her, and like if you do it properly, you sort of build a sense of like compassion from her perspective towards like the cause that Shelby is portraying at that moment, in that he's trying to find the killer, and she probably like connects with that, and she genuinely believes that he's trying to find the killer, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
my
willing to
only thing.
believe that she's
But I'm
willing
more
to go
talking
along
about-
with him.
Which also like aligns with the fact that there was the romance aspect in that. Is that like you kind of like
True.
connect over that.
True.
I made a scrambled eggs once. I can kiss
But
her.
Oh,
But,
hang on. Sorry. We're going all over the place. But let's just because you brought it up. Those scrambled eggs did not look like scrambled eggs.
That's an omelette.
They didn't.
That's an omelette.
That was an omelette.
That was an
Why
omelette.
did they just say?
That was an
Why did
omelette.
It was almost an
Why
omelet.
did they just
I
say
don't
omelette?
You know, like as part of the interaction, right? Like you can choose to like mix up the egg, like every now and then after you put the heat on, right? I was doing that constantly because that's how you make scrambled eggs. You put it in,
But it
and
never,
then you do
it never
that.
changed
It never
anything.
changed. And I was like,
Everything comes out as an omelette. I'm like, are these scrambled? I don't even like scrambled eggs, and even I know that's not scrambled.
I gave her half cooked eggs just for the fun of it.
My man, Anuk, you are a smart man.
I
gave
did
her
it twice. I was
unsalted
like,
eggs.
for this. I gave her unsalted, unseasoned,
Yeah,
unsalted.
unsalted. Thing is, I didn't know that you could salt them because honestly, I was tired anyway. I didn't want to bother.
oh really?
salting
I didn't know you
eggs.
could salt them either.
Because doesn't she say these aren't really seasoned?
I can't remember. Anyways, how much
God.
more are we spending
Either
on
way.
the story?
I want to talk about now. Now we've talked about Origami Killer. It's Scott Shelby. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense at the very least. The thing I want, and we talked about Ethan making origamis and blacking out. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. Not an ounce. The explanation is that they cut a scene that would have made sense, even though it's dumb. What was the last thing? Is the trials themselves. The trials themselves. This is where I'm going to nitpick the hell out of a few of them. Okay. So Ethan's a dumbass. That's the only reason that any of this makes sense. But let's say Ethan had a modicum of intelligence. He, by the fourth trial, would read the clues that he got on his phone and would have did any of you realize that it was saying Roosevelt
Yeah.
before the final
Yeah.
trial?
Yeah.
Why did he waste his time going to the fifth trial instead of going to the road that I don't think there are 20 roads named Roosevelt in his city. There's probably just one road
There were
named
three.
Roosevelt.
There were three.
There are three, and you have to choose from them. So if you choose wrong, then
Were
they're all Roosevelt.
they're all Roosevelt?
Yeah,
Were they all
it's-
starting with Theodore?
Yeah, no, they're all. It's 8. You see the number 8, and like you get the Roosevelt part. The only difference is it's Park, Lane, and Road.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Why don't you this is another thing about the game being so linear and you don't get a choice. You have to do the fifth trial.
No, you
can
don't.
fail or succeed
No,
at
you
it.
don't.
No, you don't.
No, you have to go there.
No,
You have to go to the
there.
fifth trial.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If this game was a game, I would have not done the fifth, not even tried the fifth trial. I would go to all the addresses that looked like Theodore, that was Roosevelted.
No. So
with the 8-2.
No. So that makes sense, like with the whole picking the location thing, right? So if you pick a wrong location and if you don't get the information, and and if you don't get the information from Madison that he's at Roosevelt Road, it leads to cutscenes where Sean does end up dying and he doesn't get saved, right? So the fact that like he goes to the fifth trial even though he has majority of the thing is because like at that point you don't know what you're gonna have in the fifth trial, right? Like it still could be something doable. Like at that point, he's probably thinking, if I take the poison, I die, or do I risk it and try to find him myself? Like only after
he doesn't know what the trial is before he gets there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why he has to go there to see what the trial is. I understand.
But
You could skip the trial, but then you run the risk of not being sure of whether the location you're going to is correct. He could have gone to the location.
Here's the thing: once he has a majority of the location name, in my head, I thought, okay, sure, he's done some bad things. He's killed a man for one. Actually, that's the only bad thing he did. But although he should go to prison, but he doesn't even get a trial. He just goes for scot-free.
I mean, he was a drug dealer.
Yeah.
So they let him off. I would believe that. Yeah, okay. But what do you call, in my head, if this man had a modicum of intelligence, he would maybe go to the police and be like, this is the most of the address I have. Send all of your officers to every single
He
one that matches
can't
an
go
S.
to the police
Yeah,
because
he
the
can't
police
go to the
suspect
police.
that he's the origami killer.
Yeah, that's the problem with that route. The problem with the other one is that he loses time if he
Just go to the-
if he skips the 5th trial and tries to find it himself.
Also, for the continuation of the story, he has to go through all the trials.
Not for it doesn't matter.
That's the thing.
You can
That's the thing.
finish it without
the fact that it was the content. The fact that you don't have real choice, because you have to go trial 1, trial 2, trial 3, trial 4, trial 5. You don't pick which one you do first, which is fine. He picks it, but you don't like start to put together. Okay, we have to go. I think we'll go to all the Roosevelts at least. This story is trying to be very realistic. You open drawers by moving a freaking stick, but you can't make a logical decision in this game.
I feel like
aggravating.
Yeah,
because you have to rely on Ethan being an idiot and follow his idiocy throughout the whole game,
like
with the Roosevelt thing.
my disagreement with that is the fact that, like, again, like, I know that by the time you come to the 5th trial, you have a majority of the address and you could go ahead and
Hang
find
on,
it.
Sushant. Sorry, one question. Since you got to replay, right? Did you do a full replay or did you just
Full replay.
chapter skip it? Okay. And in the previous trials, because you can fail trials, right? Like there's a chance of you failing.
You
them.
can fail all of them.
Yeah.
Is it avoiding them? Like, can you avoid the trial, or do you just have to do it and fail? What's
The only one that you can avoid is the second one. You can walk out the door.
You can walk out the covered door. Okay.
You can walk out the covered door, or you take too much damage and then you automatically go out.
And then you have to walk out.
You take too much damage. You just walk out.
The third one. Can you, by any chance,
You can.
Because we know where the chip is, right? If you play through the trial, is there an option for you to go and see? No, and I'm guessing for the gun thing as well, that wasn't there. Okay, if they had those options, I think it would have been a lot more interesting.
You mean finding the
Would have been
thing
a
by
lot more
itself?
interesting.
Yeah.
If this game was more open,
that would have. I mean, I know it's technically a cheat because you already know what's going to happen if you've completed it successfully.
But the thing
But I
is,
think
like,
it's also like
I also wouldn't like in the moment, like when you're playing the game, like I don't think you would have thought that it, like, if you were in that situation, right, you wouldn't
in your
think that.
first playthrough, definitely, I would have never also thought like, oh wow, I've been carrying it the entire time. But like in your second playthrough, when you know it's there, it would have been nice if there was like a way to get to it. At least then, like, you still went to the place, you still saw what the trial was, but I mean, obviously, it kind of ruins the story because you could just
Here's the
find all
thing.
the chips and say,
here's the thing.
bye.
To your point, he could have easily found the chips in the glove compartment.
But you wouldn't. But he didn't know that.
It was
he went for the glove compartment. It was locked. When I saw that the first time,
yeah.
I thought he searched the glove compartment.
No,
He made
it's
the
locked.
sound.
It's locked.
But no, he was checking it and it was locked.
It was locked.
Why didn't he try and like break it open or something? Does he care about the
He's a
structure of
weak
the car?
man. He's a weak man.
He's
He only
looking
has
for his
good
son that might
willpower.
die. He's just gonna. He's a weak man. I disagree because he beat up and shot a guy later on.
Here's the other argument that I guess that comes to my head right now. You, as the person trying to solve the trials, are at the mercy of someone who's trying to kill someone you love. If you don't, if by some chance you don't follow what they are saying, you sometimes run the risk of losing the person that is being held hostage.
I would be fine with that if the game had Ethan have his thoughts, say any of that shit, so that I'd be like, okay,
in real
at least
life,
he's
how would you
dumbassery.
feel? If it was a real person, how would you feel? That's the.
Oh
Like,
God. Okay.
I feel like yeah, again, like, it's probably because bad writing, but like maybe these are like all things that are like unsaid because who knows. Like, it's thoughts in the writer's head that didn't come onto paper.
I wish that they just didn't add the thoughts.
Yeah.
It would have made the game a lot more better. It
Yeah.
also would have made the game a lot more like a movie, like he wants to make it, fixed cameras and all that.
I
Oh
think
my God.
I think what happened there is the fact that, like, they try to figure out a way to push players in the right direction if they get stuck, and so they had to come up with a system for that. So they ended up
If
coming up
only
with
we
the
could do
thought
things
system.
like objective markers. Oh man, but that's
Yeah.
too gamey.
Yeah, so like that's the problem with that. Anyways, we moved back into gameplay. We should probably move with the story and the whole thing.
Yeah.
So here's my biggest one of my biggest
Every
nitpick.
gripe gets bigger and bigger as it goes.
my biggest nitpick is in Trial 2, where you have to crawl
Mm.
along glass. He
Yeah.
has a leather jacket.
Mm.
The glass makes sound when you walk on it, meaning it's not glued to the floor. You can push the glass.
I had the same.
Why
I had the same thought
didn't
as well.
Ethan take his leather jacket and push the glass to the side or to the front of him? Because he's smart enough to pull out a lighter and see the fresh air is going in the direction of the light. But he's not smart enough to push the... Should I push the glass away from me so I don't ram my arms into it, causing incisions that will bleed me out? No, let me push my body along this. Let me get my entire arm serrated instead of pushing the glass away from me. He's such an idiot. How do you not think to push the glass away? This is not even counting the fact, how did Scott Shelby put the glass in there in the first place? He's a fat dude. How did he fit in there? And how did he put the glass in and climb out? My God. And that is my biggest gripe with this game. I was just, throughout the whole section, I was like, please move, push the glass, you idiot, you fool, you absolute moron. You're the
Imagine Akshat
worst.
shouting at the screen like, push the glass.
Yeah, like
I did.
honestly though, like those are like some of my thoughts when going through this as well. Like he could have done that. Like I
So
probably would have done that.
So dumb. And then, oh my God, that's the peak of Ethan idiocy. And my final nitpick. I had to do research for this nitpick. Okay,
I mean the
I had to
nitpick
research
section.
No, this is the last nitpick.
The whole podcast was a nitpick section. What you mean?
This game is nitpick haven. No one, not a single character in this game, except for some side characters in one scene, carry an umbrella. This city has been raining for 4 days straight. And every time they go outside, I'm getting soaked. Then why didn't you bring an umbrella?
It's for dramatic effect.
Dramatic.
Nobody brings an umbrella. And it's not like, oh, we couldn't code umbrellas, because there are umbrellas. There's umbrellas. NPCs in the background are carrying umbrellas. But no, nobody carries a bloody umbrella, not even an umbrella hat or a raincoat.
Can you step umbrella hat?
Yeah, I felt like
Oh my God.
Someone should make a mod of just like them with umbrella hats.
I think that
That'd be so fucking
I
fun.
think the moment I noticed that is like each time it's Madison, like she's just getting off her bike,
Oh
like
yeah,
with the
yeah, yeah.
helmet, and then you're just like, it's raining.
It's raining. What
The
are you
head's
doing?
getting better.
Here's why I said I researched this, because I researched whether in rainy cities whether people just don't bring umbrellas, and apparently no. This is based on Philadelphia. I looked up Philadelphia. It rains a lot. Do you keep umbrellas? They keep umbrellas. Oh my God. You don't even see anyone like open an umbrella. Heavy rain and there's no umbrella.
Okay.
Oh, it was the dumbest. It's not even like
This is not to counter any of your points, Akshan, but I feel like most of it is just like for dramatic effect. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, of course.
I mean, it feels
I'd
like
be
a
fine with
very.
that.
They should have put an
I'd be
umbrella
fine.
hat though. That would have been. They should have an umbrella hat mode. Would have been funny. Umbrella hat.
Maybe I'd agree with that if the rest of the game was good enough for me to forgive it.
Imagine you put a mod where like you just take away all the rain and it's just like the starting the starting method.
Can you imagine? It's just like it's just Sean in a but there's no rain. It's just in the water.
You better save your son, or he's gonna get sunburned.
Ugh. It's spring allergy season. Ooh.
Ooh, the hay truck is moving closer and
Oh
closer
no no
towards
it's,
your son.
no 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 no! He only kills in fall. In fall, no, he's gonna drown in a pile of leaves.
Oh my god.
Oh god. Okay.
Oh god.
Seshan, Anuk, do you guys have anything you want to talk about story wise?
I'm gonna make mention of a
Use
couple of
words.
things. Hold up. I have a list here of stuff that I had problems with when listening. I talked about that. Jason is a stupid child for walking away. He's an absolute idiot even after being told once. If
Jason's not an Asian kid, Seshan.
Yeah,
In
exactly.
America, kids just do whatever they want. They
Exactly.
don't care about their parents.
Ethan should have been more strict on his kids after the first time.
C point one, but yeah.
Ethan is a horrible father. If you choose the option to give Sean pizza during dinner, he only gives one slice from the entire bloody pizza.
Yeah. He heats up the whole pizza and gives him one slice.
Whereas if you choose the other dinner, he gives the entire thing.
I mean,
Chicken.
being America, surely they would eat the whole pizza pie, right?
Yeah.
It's not even a big pizza.
Yeah, it's just
Anyway.
normal. It's a small pizza. The Duolingo bird in Sean's room is pretty fun.
Oh yeah, the
There's a
Duolingo one.
Duolingo bird in Sean's room. I
The
did
one
not
Seshan
know
There's a
said
bird there.
earlier.
Yeah, there's a bird that looks like the Duolingo bird in the back, and Seshan was like,
I didn't see Seshan's. I guess it's a spoiler image, right? I didn't.
Ah, yeah.
What else? I'm gonna ignore that one. This one already we talked about. Madison's insomnia adds nothing to the overall story. Making her have a fever dream is a waste of time.
Agreed.
This is another part about the shower thing. Why do the characters put on the same clothes that they had before when they finish the shower? Both Ethan and Madison, those dirty clothes they were in, they just put it on again.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last thing is that I understand the title of the game, Heavy Rain. It's based on the whole thing, but like it is probably not an accurate representation of what the full game is about, and probably would have been better off being called something like Origami Killer. I don't know. I feel like
It should have been the Origami Killer.
yeah, I feel like it was just it's all right. It's all right as a title. I'm just saying that it kind of felt a little weird. Like it's too what's the word? Abstract. And the only time it's mentioned is it's in the book that Madison writes.
That you only optional, because even if you get a good ending, it's optional.
Yeah, it's optional. And the only time she writes the book is if Ethan dies.
So every time Ethan dies, okay, well that makes sense. That makes
Wait.
sense. Okay.
She writes a book if Ethan dies. Okay.
So if Ethan dies, she doesn't end up with him. She only has the stories
And she
of
writes the
being
book.
around him while he was solving it.
Okay, I have a small thing about that. I got it even if Ethan doesn't die.
No. Is it because you rejected Madison?
Yes.
That's not the reason. If you reject Madison, you.
So if
So as long as she doesn't.
Chad.
if she doesn't end up with Ethan.
So basically, her story can end up one of two ways, right? It's either if Ethan is alive and you chose like be with Madison,
Yeah.
then it'll be happy ending with the full family. Otherwise, it'll be at the book ending if Ethan dies, or
You reject him.
or if you reject him.
Okay, I reject it.
Why?
That makes
Why? I
sense.
just realized, why doesn't Sean's mother appear anywhere in the epilogues?
She does in
Her
one.
son just got saved.
No, she appears in one.
In one of them. They avoided showing her for any of the other ones. It's like her son is saved. Who cares about the mother? Here's Madison.
She shows up in the epilogue where Ethan dies, but Sean is saved.
I believe that. Yeah.
That was another thing. So at the warehouse, right, there are a bunch of things that happen. Obviously, Scott Shelby's there because he's the killer. Ethan's there because he finds the finds the clues or whatnot. Jayden is there, Norman Jayden's there because he finds the clues as well. But because he finds the clues, Blake also shows up there. But if Madison doesn't make it to the warehouse, Blake is not there, even if Jayden's there. The only time the police are actually there is if Madison comes.
Really?
No,
Yeah, yeah.
because in my ending, Madison was there, but the police wasn't there.
But was Jayden there?
Jayden's dead, right?
Yeah,
In
yeah.
my-
So that's what I mean. The police. So like the way the story works out is that Blake sees Jayden going to the warehouse, so he follows Jayden.
Okay.
But I'm saying that you don't see Blake at the warehouse if Madison is not there herself.
If Jayden goes and Madison's not there,
Yeah.
then Blake doesn't go.
Okay, all right.
It's
Does that
not
really?
a, it's not a
Sorry.
consequence.
Does that change anything?
But that doesn't make sense, right? Like why wouldn't Blake be there if he saw Jayden going? So basically what I'm saying is that if the option of Blake being at the warehouse is this, right? You have two things that have to happen. One is Jayden needs to be there, and so does Madison. Now I understand if Jayden is there, why Blake would be there because they are interconnected, right? Blake saw Jayden go, so that's why he is there. But he doesn't appear unless Madison is also there.
It's choice adjacent.
Yeah, so like, so that there have been situations where Madison doesn't show up and Jayden is there instead, but Blake is not there.
Okay, I have a question. Why does Madison go to the doctor?
She goes to the doctor because he's the one
He
who
got
owns
some
the
evidence.
apartment. He's the one who
Yeah.
owns the apartment that where
They
where
went
Ethan
to-
cuts his finger.
From my perspective, I was just like, you're visiting your drug dealer? What are you doing?
I
Don't know
yeah,
what was happening.
you don't really. I think you don't really understand that like throughout the conversation unless you like really dig into it. So basically, he owned the set of apartments where Ethan did that. So then he was trying to figure out who that dude had rented the apartments to,
What his connection was with Ethan.
what his connection was to Ethan.
I
That's it.
wish that they remake this game not with David Cage. I wish they remake this game where you make it more of a game, where you have Ethan investigating on his terms, Madison, who's a journalist, investigating on her terms, and Norman investigating on his terms. But you pick the character at the beginning and you're on their path only.
Or you do like a GTA thing and you swap bodies.
Yeah.
You just go.
No, more like how what's that game? Resident Evil. You pick a storyline, you pick a character, and you follow that character on that path story. So it's a
Okay.
different perspective each time. It's 3 different games essentially.
I kind of like the way that they did this because this is kind of similar to like it's similar to a show that I've seen where it's like, but the only difference is that
Each episode is different.
not it's not that it's like it's all happening, the show happens all in like one city, but it's like different things are happening to the people, right? Their stories are completely disjointed from each other and they actually in the end come together as one. That's a nicer way of looking at it rather than what happens here where like you have one objective and people are looking at it from different angles.
I see.
Whereas like if you think about
I-
it like this, like Ethan's trying to figure out like why he's having blackouts, and then like Madison's trying to find a cure for her insomnia, and Norman Jayden's trying to find the origami killer. It's like 3 different plot lines, right? They're trying to do three different things, but their paths cross, and like at the end, the objective that they're trying to fulfill is save Sean of who find the origami killer.
Yeah. Ignore Scott Shelby. Let's just not put him there.
Yeah.
Or here's my opinion. You should have been Lauren. You shouldn't have been Scott, because it would solve the problem of hearing Scott's thoughts and actions. Because suddenly you are playing a character who is not Scott. You're not like making decisions. Your motivations and your actions are aligned.
Yeah.
As opposed to Scott, your actions as you're playing the game are not in line with him. So suddenly it's just weird. His character is weird that way. If you played as Lauren, you're with Scott, and you still have the twist of, oh, he's the killer, and you're like, oh, you're not confused. You're not like betrayed in a weird like.
Yeah, I think that would have been nice actually. Maybe you're playing as Lauren.
Yeah.
I guess we'll never
Uh,
know.
I have not a nitpick. Do we have any final thoughts? I think we've come to sort of a and
May I give
ending with
my 2 cents? I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say Anuk didn't give his point, but Anuk, please
sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Okay, so let me just bring up my notes for a second. Oh yes, okay. I'll just make it quick. So I really like the R system that Jayden uses. At least the gameplay mechanics is what I like. The like Sishan mentioned earlier, like the trail going towards the or pointing you towards the end of the clues was a good idea rather than it being just like gather clues and stuff like that.
Can I build on that for one thing that I didn't mention before? I think that the gameplay is good depending on the character you play.
But you mean the
I
RE system, or
disagree.
are you talking about the
I'm
gameplay?
talking about the
No,
game
no.
in general. I'm saying that
Okay.
I'm saying the gameplay is good when you play Jayden because like the detective thing is fun. It's all
Yeah.
right when you're playing Scott Shelby because there's some sort of like thing that's happening. It's boring when you play Madison and Ethan to a certain degree because they are doing such mundane things up until like they're actually doing something worthwhile,
Near the
like starting the car.
Oh yeah. Wow. I don't understand.
Anyways, Anu,
Anyway.
continue.
Okay. The other one, I'm not sure whether it's an actual reference to Friends, but I liked it. We remember the scene where Jayden goes up the hill, the mud hill, and then this car. I think was it? I
What?
don't remember. You know the French
Sorry.
gesture, where shit, what's his name again? He puts his hand up,
Chandler?
the middle
Joey?
finger. Not Joy. Shit.
Ross?
Yes.
Where Ross?
He
You
does
mean
his
it's
middle.
like
Yeah. What are you doing?
this?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know whether it's
Uh,
actual reference to Friends, but I was interesting to
Well,
see that.
maybe.
I think I know what you mean. Is it when you fail at climbing the hill?
No. It's towards the end of the climbing of hill. I think when you like get splashed with water or something like that.
Oh, you get splashed from a car, and then you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah,
push
it
your
is
car.
his middle finger, but he doesn't
I
actually
think this is just a way of like showing like
being
No, but
peachy.
it could be the
It
Friends.
feels like
could
a
be, it
Friends
could
reference.
be.
I don't know, just maybe.
All right. Just as by the way, to anyone who gets that scene where you're climbing the hill, fail it as many times as you want. It's hilarious.
Anuk, go ahead.
Anyway,
But then the other funny scene was, the luggage area where you're pushing people off, everyone just falls.
Oh yeah.
that is
No.
so
Yeah.
funny. That is so funny.
Like balloons just falling, everyone's pop, 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 pop.
There's an achievement. There's an achievement for that.
Oh shit, is that?
Oh,
Oh, shit.
really?
There's an achievement to push over 50 people.
Oh man,
wow.
I could have done
Wow.
that. I was like
Wow.
pushing people. Okay, I should have done that. Never mind. Like next time.
That sounds more exciting than the whole game. Trying to get that achievement.
Oh, my only nitpick for this game was the ending scene.
Which one?
You could not skip it. The end credits.
Ah, yes, that's
Oh,
also.
you couldn't skip the credits.
I couldn't
Fucking
skip.
hell,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
so long for no reason. Like usually other games you can skip it, right? Like,
Yeah.
at least or fast forward the credits in. But like this, you had to like watch through the whole 2 or 3 minutes of it. Like it's just too long.
I had to go through that each time I tried to do the achievement hunting. So instead, I would either pause on the scene right before the credits and then quit to main menu, or I would just shut down the entire game.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
force close.
I-
Don't
second time I
get us
finished-
wrong. Don't get us wrong. We really appreciate all the work that the people did on the game and stuff, and 100%.
Yeah, that's
But the
true.
option would be nice. That's all that's being said.
Or at least fast
Or
forward.
fast forward.
Fast forward.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of games do. Yeah, yeah. My second time playing, I did Alt F4 on the game, on the credits.
I didn't want to alt F4 or close the thing because thinking that the progress would not be considered.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I just let it play through.
Fair enough. I think after you get the
I see,
achievement, it
I
doesn't
see.
matter.
True. But yeah,
Vedanta,
those are my only
any
things.
nitpicks from your end?
Any final thoughts?
I mean, I feel like y'all pretty much covered everything I had. I think what's really apparent to me is, and in a way, it's a good thing, and probably, I mean, it is the game, right? We all definitely had like different things happen in our game. Like there are a lot of moments like today where we were like, oh wait, like you had this thing happen, like we didn't have this happen, or oh I actually saw it this way. So that's kind of nice in a way, in my opinion, because like
I mean,
I feel like going forward, we're not going to have a lot of games like that. Like our next few batch of games, we're all going to have the same experience, which is good, and it will have our own perspective on it. But we can't play Baldur's Gate because it's too long.
Yeah.
But yeah. But like that's nice. I feel like we're getting to this point where less and less games are going to be doing that. So that's a cool thing to say. Everything else we pretty much covered. I'm only going to make this one point, and I told it to Akshan earlier as well. I think the real killer in the game is the way that origami was pronounced by some people. No consistency there. Some people just said, what were the different ones? So some people said origami properly. Then there was origami.
Origami.
And there was another one I think you told me, Akshan. I forgot.
Origami.
Origami. Yeah. So,
origami.
I don't know why. I would have rather they just had everyone mispronouncing it because it's not an English word, right? So like if they wanted to all mispronounce it, that's fine.
I think what happened was they got them all in the sound booth separately, and whoever the voice director was just didn't keep track.
Yeah, it was just like, is it origami? You know what? Just
say the line.
You got this, kid. You got this, kid. We're gonna make it.
You think it's that? You think it's that, but I think it's maybe just like a sense of like.
No, I've listened to voice actors talking, and like usually they say sometimes they don't share the room with actors. No. Sometimes one would pronounce it wrong, and the other would pronounce it differently.
What I mean by that is like, isn't that like? Isn't getting everyone to pronounce it the same way sort of like not organic?
I would agree if only Norm and Jayden pronounce it differently, because the rest of them live in the same city, and usually in a city they have the same dialect.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, okay.
Norman is a foreigner to this.
I mean, it's not a. Don't get me wrong. I didn't consider it like story break or anything. I just feel like it's just sometimes a little. Yeah. Niggle on the ear. That's it.
A little what?
Absolutely.
A little niggle on the ear. That's all I said.
It rhymes with tickle. No, not tickle.
Wiggle. With wiggle.
With the wiggle.
Yeah. All right. So
I agree with you.
I do want to.
No, wait, one more thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you, Dilanta. We learned a lot of things today. I learned today that Scott Shelby was the origami killer.
Yeah, I had no idea, dude. I really thought it was Sean Mars, but anyway. Yeah.
Really? I thought it was Madison.
I thought Sean Mars put himself in there, and it's like, help me, Dad.
I thought it was the ghost of Jason.
Exactly, I thought it was Jason as well.
Sorry. Before we end, big conspiracy time. You know how we're talking about how Scott Shelby is too fat to get into the trial 2 thing? What if he got Sean Mars to go and put glass?
Genius.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah, let's keep going.
Oh God. All right. So I think we're coming to an end. We've shared our thoughts, shared our opinions, our perspectives on games. More than likely, for the next few games, we're not going to focus as much on story, just because some of them don't have story. So there's a unique one for our first one. And we're going to get into our final ratings. So we'll start from Dilanta.
Whoa. Where's my section?
Achievements. I'm nearly snickle-doodled. All right. Show the achievements.
Show the achievements. There's nothing to show. All right. So since this is...
Ajahn has perfectly encapsulated this. There's nothing to show.
We have... So there's a note for all of our future... episodes. Every time the game has achievements, our achievement hunter here, Seshan, will try and get them all. He won't succeed. Some of them are just so hard, but this one he has succeeded.
Yes.
So I think Seshan will always succeed because that's the type of person Seshan is.
Yes.
So tell us the process that you went through getting all these achievements.
So I guess there aren't a lot of achievements in this game. 56, I'd say there's like a fair amount for a story-based game. I think everyone's completion time would have been roughly around 10 hours.
For one playthrough?
Yeah. One full playthrough, yeah. So, I mean, like, if you're wanting to play it without looking at the achievements, because technically it does spoil certain things, like, if you look at the achievements and try to do the walkthrough with, like, trying to get the achievements in your one and only playthrough, like, you'd probably get stuff spoiled, like, I especially Scott being the origami killer. Like that's evident the moment you look at the achievements.
Can I also just say, happens in every game. If you look up the achievement guide to try and do it in one
Yeah,
playthrough,
yeah.
you're going to get stuff spoiled. So,
But that's based on the achievement, right? If the achievement is mostly based on the thing that you're supposed to do rather than the story, then there's a chance that it won't. But like again, so for
Wait a
this,
Is Heavy Rain the achievements that are spoilers? Are they spoiler tagged or like hidden?
yeah, so most of them are spoiler, like most of them are hidden. As like
Okay.
as far as I know, like most of them are hidden. Like only a couple of them are like open because like it unlocks as the story progresses. Like my recommendation as someone who plays for achievements also is that play the first time completely blind, and then like playing your second round, it'll only take you another 12 hours perhaps to get the full thing.
Oh,
The
Okay.
only bad
Okay.
thing, yeah, the only bad thing about the achievements is the fact that you get like multiple endings. And there are some achievements that can probably be a little pain in the ass to do. Like the scene where you have to like follow Scott's brother like in the construction zone.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it can be very finicky and like you can't mess up a single action.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and like there's like a
Oh, wow.
yeah, so and if you mess up one, you have to redo the entire thing.
I know, try and
Yeah.
do that on keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
Yep, not even gonna try.
But a lot of them a lot of them unlock fairly easily if you play the game itself. The only one that I have a bit of a problem with is Trial 1. There's apparently an optimal route to take when you're driving down the wrong lane. Yes, there's an
Okay.
optimal route to take, which is a completely different achievement in itself. You get an achievement for surviving, you get an achievement for completing the trial. There's a third achievement for the trial, which is for choosing the optimal route.
So it means like your movement depends on
Yeah.
whatever the. Okay.
It doesn't affect the outcome of the story, but apparently it's an achievement thing.
Because there are points where you get like there's a car coming, you got to go swerve left or right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
What else is there? I mean, like everything is like pretty self-explanatory, nothing too difficult. There were like some like it. I had to replay a lot of like the final chapters. Like I had to kill Madison like 5 times. Yeah, there's
I
a
would
lot.
have loved to do that.
There's like a lot of chapters where like there's a lot of endings where you have to kill Madison or like you have to kill Ethan, you kill Jayden. Like it's like
But
really-
you can't kill Scott. Coincidence?
I think not. Yeah. Like
You also can't kill Ethan until the last one, until the last chapter.
I will say though, like some ending, like the only good thing from doing this thing is like you get some perspective on some of the different endings that happen. So like if you survive as Norman Jayden and like you don't find Sean, he goes in like to like a complete like drug like into a drug hole and like she just overdoses and dies. Yes.
Wow, Sherlock Holmes.
Every time Ethan doesn't save Sean, he kills himself. He kills himself in his own room. He kills himself in front of Sean's grave. He kills himself in a prison as well.
He goes
Okay.
to prison
He gets
as the origami killer.
yeah. So
He
Blake
gets framed.
yeah, he gets framed and that happens. So the spoiler one that I mentioned before is like if you let Lauren live and she finds out that you are the origami killer, the ending scene, which is pretty nice, is that she appears in front of Scott with a gun and kills him.
Yeah.
That's if you let her
So
live.
wait,
Lauren
when does that
kills-
ending happen?
That happens.
If
That happens if Scott doesn't get caught or killed,
okay,
and you let Lauren live.
Yeah.
okay, but it doesn't matter what happens to Ethan or Sean. They can either die. Okay, all right.
As
Yeah,
long as
you
the
get to
information that Scott is the killer gets up.
Yeah. I got that ending my first time as well.
Other than that, like there isn't much that I would say like achievement wise. It's not really difficult, especially like when you're going through a walkthrough. It's just very very tedious. That's why like I said like my biggest problem with the entire game is the fact that like you can't skip cutscenes or skip credits or even fast forward stuff because like it's a lot of those hours that go into getting the achievements is basically out from not being able to skip certain scenes. Like you have no idea how fed up I was of going into Scott's apartment as medicine.
Yeah, that's
The game,
is a
the
killer.
game achievement hunting for the game is not necessarily a fun time.
It's not
More
necessarily a
serious
fun time, but like it could reveal things about the game that you didn't know. Like I feel like not only, but like one of the good things from doing it was the fact that like I got to see the multiple endings that I wouldn't have seen on my original playthrough. So
That's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my take.
Lovely.
Well done,
Lovely,
Seshan.
lovely.
Well done.
Achievement
for
hunting.
getting all the achievements.
All right. So we've had joy, we've had fun, we've had seasons in the sun.
Oh,
I was going to say sun, but then I realized rain.
Mm.
But I think we've come to an end. We are going to now do our rating. Sesha, what are the 5 categories of ratings that we are to give this?
So
that we can give for
yeah.
a game.
So from best to worst, we got finish it, we got try it, we got consider it, skip it, or kill it.
Mhm.
All right, so
kill it. that's a next level
well,
thing. Okay.
basically, I think so. The difference between skip it and kill it is skip it is like don't play this game. Kill it is this game shouldn't exist. Basically,
Yeah. So consider it means complete it means finish the entire game
Because you like it.
because you like it or that it's a good game. Even as far as 100%ing a lot of the games, I feel like go up in that category of finish it. Try it in means that it's a decent game, and like the rating says, try it, give it a shot.
try it.
Right.
Yeah.
Consider it is the middle ground. If you feel like it's interesting, and depending on whether you want to spend the money and buy it because it is a paid game, again consider it. Skip it is we don't recommend it, but you can if you're interested. Kill it means as self-explanatory. It shouldn't exist. We don't know why it exists, and it should never exist.
All right, so
Jay, I wonder what Akshan's gonna give this.
yeah, let's go down the line. Dilantha, what is your rating for this game?
Just keep
Okay.
it short.
Yeah,
Yes,
thanks, Alex.
small summary and just tell the rating.
I think just everyone just say
So-
their rating, and then we'll get to it.
Yeah, full disclosure. I mean, for all of us, I think this goes say just our opinion has nothing to do with like critical
No,
response.
this is
whatever.
objective fact. You don't have our
disregard anything.
opinion, you're
Don't
wrong.
disregard anything. Disregard everything Akshan says, but just our personal opinion. Don't take it seriously.
This is our opinion, yes.
Just us. Okay. So for
Yeah,
me,
we're not gods.
right? Yeah. For me personally, I think it's on the line of consider it. I think overall, I was going to give 2. One would be like if you were on PlayStation, I think you should probably give it a try because it is one of their better games, at least from that era, from the PlayStation 3 and 4 era. But I think overall, I think it's a considerate thing. It's do we do the explainer thing or
No, just so what's your final one?
consider it? I give it a consider it.
Anup?
Sorry, just I want to remember what is it? Was it finish it? Complete it?
Yeah.
Consider it?
Sorry, no.
No.
It's,
Skip it.
Skip it?
no. So it's finish it, try it,
Try it.
consider it, skip it, or kill it.
I would say try it for the reason that it may be better towards the end of the game rather than the beginning of the game. Some people, especially for me, my opinion, I feel you might enjoy it a bit better towards the end rather than the beginning. It might get it's a bit too slow at the beginning for my taste, at least. So, yeah.
All right, mine. Overall, I would say try it. I say for a majority of people, probably try it. Because if you're going to play one playthrough, which a lot of people do, they just play it once. They don't really think about it. They don't go back and play it again. If you play it once and you don't think about it too hard, you'd probably enjoy the game. If you're analyzing every crevice of it like we are, then I'd probably drop it down more. But I'd say for the average person, I think it's a try. I think it's a game worth trying.
Yeah. For the casual, try it.
All right.
Bro.
Why are you laughing? If you are interested in gaming history, like the history of games, this is a significant one, I would say. And so for that reason, I would say consider it. However, most of you aren't. Skip this shit.
So
you're not killed. You're not killed. You just skip.
Akshan's final. So Akshan is skip it. So Akshan skip it. I am try it. Anuk is try it. Dilanta is try it.
Consider
Right?
it.
No, consider it.
Consider it.
So okay, we got kill, try, consider.
Skip. No,
No, I didn't say kill.
Oh, sorry. Skip,
I'm skip.
try, consider.
I think its historical significance is enough to not kill it. It's not that bad. As much as I got that angry, it's not that bad.
I think I said this to Akshan. I feel like his experience, while the game has its flaws, I feel like also the way he got into it was probably not the best either, with the crashes and stuff. Is just an assumption. It's just an assumption, because I know that's gonna weighs into your mind when you play anything. Like when a game crashes, you don't think, "Wow, I should be objective about it." You just.
I mean, I understand. I completely understand Seshan's try, because when I was playing it, getting through it, I was like, "All right, this is fine." It was when I thought about it and everything about it is where it just like down the staircase.
It's when you go to analyze every bit of it, which is what we're trying to do with this podcast, right? We're trying to analyze every bit of these games that we select and we play, and we try to give you our best subjective opinion,
an honest review.
Our honest review of it, basically. And so, like, we feel like in terms of like playing it, also, like, we recommend that you probably just play it once and don't think too much about it. It's an experience, is what it is. Is it a good one? It's subjective, but
I would also say, like, for obviously, and I'm sure we know this, everyone knows this, there are games. This is probably a good inspiration for like follow up like narrative games, right? Like games like Life is Strange, like we talked about. This was like the predecessor to them. So there are definitely nowadays better experiences just like this. But if you really want to see how it started,
I will say I am very happy that gaming has come such a long way in terms of storytelling, because I think God of War, it has a much better story than this game, definitely. But it's also a very good game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we've come to a point where you can have a great story, but you have to have a great game.
Also, Sony, if you ever listen to this, maybe the remaster should go to games like this, not to The Last of Us. Just saying, those games are already good. These are the ones which need that budget. Just an idea, just floating it out.
Just an idea.
Anyway,
by the way, Anuk brought this up earlier. If you did like the RE sort of investigation mechanics in this game and how it was used, I recommend Detroit Become Human. It looks like it's that, but for a whole game, or at least a big.
Who knows? Maybe it'll come up in a future episode. Not anytime soon.
Turn.
I need a year at least before I play another David Cage. I do want to leave with one thing. Stories are inspired in some way. People see something in the news, they have a life experience, and they're inspired to write a story about it. Heavy Rain, David Cage once lost his son in a mall, and he was inspired to make this game from that.
He found his son again, right?
Yes. He once lost his son in a mall and was like, "Oh."
You should have probably added that context at the end, because I thought he genuinely lost his son and never saw him again.
No. He once lost his son in the mall.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
He found his son and went, "Damn."
If he didn't find it, then those Jason things and those moments actually are kind of sad.
He found his son and went, "Damn, Daniel."
Yeah.
Jason. He's French also, so it'd be
anyway,
Jason.
Jason.
All right, so we're signing off. I think we've given our recommendations, or not recommendations, for this game. If you played it, tell us what you think. I don't know how you're going to tell us. Let's find out
In the comments.
in the comments down below. If you're on Spotify, go to their YouTube channel and comment here.
Or like us on Spotify. But
Or like
They
us on
like us on Spotify. That's good too. Rate us highly.
Yeah.
We hope you've enjoyed the first episode of the game playlist. There are 3 other episodes that are up as well at the moment. We've got one on Lethal Company, The Last Campfire, and Inscription. Check those out if you found this interesting. And yeah, that's it.
Cheerio. See you
Bye-bye.
next month.
Bye.
Bye bye.